If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors and Custom Drywall can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray or Mike, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors and Custom Drywall, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
There's just one place where you could drive a new Acura ZDX for only $239 a month. The Customer Appreciation Sale at Acura of Pembroke Pines. Thank you for making us number one.
We're celebrating a new year with new savings at Toyota of Hollywood, the official #1 volume Toyota dealer. Save big on a 24 Corolla, not $24,000, $17,988. Buy with 0% financing, 0 down. We're bringing you deals that strike fast and hard at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welt and Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welt and Rayom can help.
We are live. It is 7:30, but the place to be, it's still always the Squared Circle Digest. I am your host, Sean Stanley, and he is the great Frankie Fresco. How we doing, sir?
What's going on, sir? I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Are you repping your Gators? Is that a University of Florida?
Oh, of course.
Yes. All right.
Yes, of course. I'm repping.
And Memo, how we doing? No Doubt is in already. That in as well. Appreciate all you jumping in and in on the chat. So make your feelings known. We got a lot going on. There's a lot of toxic relationships going on. It's not just me and Frankie anymore. It's not just mine and Frankie's toxic relationship. There's a lot going on. Frankie, how's your week been, though, real quick?
Man, I've been busy, man. I've been slammed with work, which is always a blessing. I have a wedding this Saturday, so I'll be busy on Saturday. But besides that, I'm also going to be tuning into March Madness, supporting my Florida Gators. The Gators, #1 seed in college basketball, one of the #1 seeds. We bet some money on them, so let's hope they're able to pull off the win. I think they're playing the best basketball right now in the country. To be honest.
Believe, from what I've seen, again, not that I can sit here and say I watch a lot of basketball, but watching the SEC tournament and some of the other tournaments, I would say right now they're playing the best basketball. And actually, I picked them in my brackets, so they're better. They're better.
A lot of people say that, Frankie, you're a hater, that I don't like the University of Miami, and that is true. I don't. It's not that I don't like the University of Miami. I'm not a hater. I care about when Miami loses in football. When they win, I don't care. So that's the difference.
Yeah.
But I support their basketball team. I like their basketball team.
You said the women's basketball team. I saw you in the chat earlier.
I also like the women's. Yes, the women's basketball team. They're very, very good. Yeah. I think the women's basketball team has a lot of potential.
Terry, what's up, my man? Memo says, let's go Gators. Lose.
Yeah, Memo doesn't even know where the Florida Gators are actually even located. So,
Oh, Josh is in. So there we go. Josh, he was upset this week. I forgot. Well, hold on a minute. What did he send me? And I was on X, and he said I sent out a thing, and it was the how did you like Raw? And it was just Josh was not happy, man.
I have a question before we continue. Are we on Twitter as well? Because I don't see the.
No,
post.
we are not on X because Elon Musk wanted to charge me $50.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Just want to make sure because I didn't see that.
That is not happening right now. So we are not live on X today. I have to wait for something to run out, and then I can go back to another subscription. But I gotta wait till they don't run it again, and then try to charge me $50. But they doubled the price of what it was before.
Really? Oh man, I gotta look at my thing now because if you're saying that, then I'm probably gonna get charged 50 as well. I gotta look.
Yeah,
that's not good. That's not bueno.
Yeah. Let's see. No doubt says I have a theory that the increase in money for SEC and the NIL age has resulted in a raising of the level of basketball in the SEC. Maybe as a whole, I could see that. I could see that. Definitely.
14 teams made it to March Madness. Only 2 teams in all of SEC did not make it, which was LSU and I believe it was South Carolina, the guys. Don't quote me on that. I know LSU's won, but I think it's the LSU. South Carolina. But they also said that their records were really, really good. But they wanted to give opportunities to other people. So, but we're not here to talk about March Madness, man. We're here to talk about our boy John Cena and his toxic relationship with the fans.
The toxic relationship with fans. So let me just ask you this, because I just brought up what Josh had sent me. And you know what? But see, this is going to go into another thing that you've added to the wheel too.
Okay.
So maybe we'll discuss it, because he said this. I sent out the what was your grade for WWE Raw on Netflix? And of course, again, next week, don't forget it starts at 4 p.m. All right, PSA telling you now it starts at 4 p.m. next week, and then 3 p.m. the following week. He says, I feel like Triple H put Cena in a bad situation. Could have done that segment in the United States instead of Belgium.
Wow. Okay.
And and then I saved that because I wanted to put this here, because I don't think the reaction would have been the same if it was in the U.S. that it was in Belgium or any international audience. An international audience gives such different vibes to a WWE show. It is ridiculous.
I have to agree with you. There's a reason why it was done over there,
Yes.
and it's because, like, we have it on. It kind of does relate with what one of the topics on the.
Yes, that's why I thought about it as you said. I was like,
but it's true. I mean, and look, let's just let's jump into it, right? First and foremost, why did you like the promo? Did you like John Cena's promo?
Oh, I loved it. I loved everything about it.
I
loved everything about the promo. The promo. I thought Cena is the one guy that could have pulled that off, because he has given everything to the fans.
He has.
So, again, I think this allowed him to be more of himself too, outside, but also using the fans that maybe did bad to him before. This was him lashing out at those fans, but making it broad to every fan now that he's a heel. If that makes sense, if you're understanding what I'm saying.
I will say this.
I feel like it's the real him is what I'm trying to say. This is his real feelings that he has bottled up, that he hasn't been able to get out for 25 years.
I agree with you. I feel like he has given a lot to the John Cena fans of the world. He's giving everything to them. For many, many years, he's done that. You can't see me. He's hugged, kissed, uh, taken photos, sacrificed his body for the John Cena fans, and he's fed up. He's tired of it. He doesn't. He feels like the fans have been ungrateful for many many years. I mean, he mentioned the fact that when has he left and he made this announcement that this was going to be his final tour, his final hurrah, and people cheered. People were happy that it's his final hurrah. You know, there's been a lot of people, a lot of John Cena fans out there that like to scream Cena sucks. So you could understand his frustration. You could understand him lashing back at the fans, at the
Yes.
John Cena fans. And you know what? I'm not a John Cena fan. You guys know that. So he wasn't lashing at me. He was lashing at you, John Cena fans.
No, he lashed at you too. As a matter of fact, in the promo, he called you out.
What did he say? Remind me.
He said in there, hold on, he says here, hold on a minute. Where's the exact thing here?
So you don't even have it because he didn't lash at me. He lashed at his Cena fans.
No, he didn't. He said, where you were at. He said, "Oh, you're chanting for Cody, of course."
Well, I'm not a Cody fan.
This is the brand new site. He said, "With every breath, you prove my point that you're awful people, and that's every single person in this room, especially the people I can pick out in the crowd. When you're in front now, I can identify you very easily. You're the Let's Go Cena people." And he says, "You're the one who go, man, I support you. You hear that, world? The Cena sucks jagoffs, which is you, have already proved themselves awful people. I'm going to tell you why the Let's Go Cena people are awful people."
Okay, so first and foremost, I am not a fan who says Cena sucks. I don't like Cena whatsoever. So I don't even cheer for Let's Go Cena or Cena sucks. I'm just being honest with you. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't gone and see him. I am a truelist when it comes to the wrestling. I have seen John Cena. I was at that time, it was the American Airlines Arena, and I did go see John Cena when he did his finishing move on Kevin Federline. So I was there for John Cena too. I'm not gonna lie. I have seen Cena out there. I particularly did not go to see him. I went to go see the show, but coincidentally, that was the show where he did that his finishing move on Kevin Federline. But I will say this. I think the fact that he went and took a jab at all you Cena fans was masterful. He needed to take fans at
everything he did was masterful there, man. Everything. The fact that he said, and again, the reason it took me a while because I have a transcript of what he said in front of me, so I can make sure I give it the due, the due diligence and the proper how he worded it. I want to make sure like this line right here just shows you where it's like, this is the one guy who can take all of this and really just shove it right in the fan's face and be like, you've got to eat it. You've got to eat it. He says, I'm a toy, an object to you. You made me the butt of a stupid, invisible joke for 15 years and still think it's funny. It's not funny. It's pathetic. You are pathetic.
Yes, and hold on a second. I have to address something quickly. Official memo. Don't come and tell me what show I went to or what not, man. I was there. It was a Monday Night Raw, Kevin Federline and John Cena. There was multiple shows where Kevin Federline and John Cena were interacting. It just wasn't on SmackDown, sir. And if you need me to go ahead and prove it to you, go on my Facebook and you will see the photos that document and show that it was a Monday Night Raw, sir. So get your facts right. I did not say SmackDown. I said it was a Monday Night Raw. I went on Monday night, and if you need...
It went on a New Year's Day in 2007. January 1st, 2007, WWE Monday Night Raw main event in Miami. Kevin Federline faced off against John Cena.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for somebody going ahead and backing me up, unlike this ungrateful official DJ Memo calling me out on crap. He probably wasn't even born at that time.
And also, he had prior altercations on Raw on October 16th and October 23rd, 2006.
Exactly. My point exactly. I have photos. How are you going to tell me that it wasn't a Monday Night Raw, that it was a SmackDown if I went to the show? It's like, that makes no sense. Like, Get your facts
You're
straight, sir.
wrong. You can't see me.
You're crazy. I did not say SmackDown. I said Monday Night Raw, dude. I said Monday Night Raw. I saw him in Monday Night Raw. And then up in your comments, you went ahead and you wrote, this is exactly, what did you write? You said, and sorry guys, but he just pissed me off. Just like, sir, that was Raw, not, I guess I read it wrong. No, I said Raw. Did I say SmackDown? I said Raw. My bad. If I said SmackDown, my apologies. I swear I thought I said Raw, but maybe I said SmackDown. I don't know. But Raw was the show. Raw was the show where I saw him. I thought he said SmackDown. I don't know why. Anyways, long story short, I went and saw him at Raw. Screw you, sir. Screw you. Anyways, forget about Memo. Anyways, so what ends up happening here with John Cena is I'm actually happy that he went and took shots at this. He took shots at Memo because Memo is a John Cena lover. He loves John Cena.
Oh yeah, Memo does.
Memo is a big John Cena lover. So he was taking when I was
This
seeing
is why
that,
he's lashing out at you right now. By the way,
exactly.
This is probably why he's lashing out. He's upset.
He's already upset at me because John Cena. You want to know what's funny? And I'm gonna throw Memo under the bus. Memo was sending me messages during the Monday Night Raw segment saying, "I don't like this John Cena promo." Maybe it was because his feelings were hurt because of what John.
You know what it is? Cena said it perfectly. He said, "It's too tough for you. I'm breaking up with you. We're done. Whether you like me or not, you're dumped. I don't need you anymore, and you don't matter to me."
It is. It's beautiful. Now, I will ask you this. I know you have an issue, but did you have an issue with Cody Rhodes coming out there and talking about John Cena? Explain to me, why did you have why were you mad at Cody Rhodes' portion of the promo?
I spoke about it last night because, you know what? I don't know if this has actual Cody's words on it. No, it doesn't. Damn it. The fact he walked out and he said, "I wanted to hear what you had to say." This guy drew blood from you. It wasn't like he rolled you up and pinned you or something where you're like, what the hell's going on? No. He turned on. I mean, there's no questions asked.
Hold on a second, sir.
He beat you up.
Was he the one that made him bleed? I thought it was Travis Scott.
No, he hit him with the watch.
It was with the watch?
Cena hit him with the watch and kept hitting him. Now, Travis Scott did his jaw on his eye, black eye and all that.
Okay.
That was from the punch. But he kept hitting him in the head with the Rolex that he had.
Now, if you had, I wish you would have had, they would have showed what Cody said. Cody did mention, even though after all you did, I was still looking forward to you and me at WrestleMania. So he did acknowledge that he did get his ass kicked, apparently. But
but what he was saying, continue your thoughts. Let me try to find Cody's talk.
So here's my thing. He did mention in that promo, he's like, considering what happened or what you did to me, I still wanted or was looking forward to going one-on-one with you leading up to WrestleMania. So he wanted this to continue. But what happened was he got a whining John Cena, a whining little bitch John Cena. And the question for you guys who are watching and tuning in, did you like the fact that John Cena was whining and being a little bitch out there? Because Cody did have a right to go ahead and call him a bitch because he was whining like a little hoe. I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought he could have been a little bit more just more of a heel, but he personally said that he is not a baby, he's not a heel, he's just John Cena.
He's a human being.
He is a human being.
And you treated that human being wrong.
Yes. So here it says he was saying he was looking forward to wrestling the classic Cena. Exactly. He was looking forward to seeing the you can't see me Cena, the regular Cena, the one that people always fell in love with, like Memo fell in love with. But Josh says, how do you boo Cena? That is classless of Belgium. That is a legend, not just whatever wrestler. Sir, you gotta boo John Cena because that's what made that promo so freaking good. That crowd made it even 10
Oh,
times better.
so much better. The
That
fact
was
that John Cena went to walk out when they were booing and then they stopped enough, they were almost like they were playing along with it. Cena went to leave, they stopped enough to where then Cena came back. And Cena was pulling all the strings too. He had him right in the in his hand the whole time too. It was just one of those things where that was a perfect place to do it. And now I take back what I said by not having Cena on Raw right after Elimination Chamber. I thought, you know what? But now I see what they were doing. Let's get it to the international crowd because we're going to be able to feed and get the energy off of that. And it was perfect. That was perfect. Again, the problem I had where
I think the moment that the crowd like really got me was when they started singing na 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 hey 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 goodbye. When they started saying that stuff, which you don't hear the American crowd ever say something like that, which is frustrating. And we'll talk about if it lands on the spin the wheel portion of the show. But it feels different. And John Cena was feeding off of it. And even Cody Rhodes coming in and just saying the certain amount of, comments that he said, for me, it worked because he did call him a little bitch. And it was true. He was whining the whole time. He was whining. And if he's a whiner, you don't want to hear people who are whining. You don't want to hear whiners. Look, Memo is whining just in the beginning of the show. He's a whiner. We don't want to hear the whiners. We want to hear either you're a baby or you're a heel. But Cena did not deliver that. Cena wanted to whine. But in a way, for me, I liked it. I thought it was good. I liked the fact that he called out all his fans.
Yeah, no, I think it allowed. Again, it's the realism to me. The fact that, to me, Cena is the one that can do this because of so much that he's given to the fans, to everybody. And again, this isn't the first time. People wanted him to go heel before, and he did the little heel turn where he put his heel on the mat, and he said, there you go. There's your heel turn. They've messed with this before. It's never got to this point. And the fact that, again, he took it and made it real. This is what you guys have been. And again, I think he took situations that he had with fans at certain positions in his career, and he made it and he added to the fire and took it out on everybody in the, he made it a whole thing with some of the instances. The fact when he was like, I'm out eating and I get disturbed. And it's always take with you guys. When have you ever stopped and said, John Cena, how are you? Mm-hmm. Or how are you doing? It's always sign this and do that. That's what happens in the life of John Cena. This is him just being like, I'm done with this, and it's real. And you can see how it could happen with John Cena. This is perfectly executed. And again, my problem with the whole thing, and again, this is probably more old school because I did like the Cody Rhodes promo part. Okay. I just didn't like how casually he strolled down to the ring like nothing had happened.
But you want him to beat John Cena up like that? I don't think so.
I'm not saying beat him up or anything, but it's like I don't know. To me, like he's sitting there, he's like, whoa, and he turns his back on Cena and things like that dude just like beat the crap out of you with your dad's Rolex. Again, this is the way I look at it, and it's like it's not like Cena like pushed him off the apron and won the Royal Rumble or something. No, I mean, and again, Travis Scott broke your jaw and gave you a black eye. He's with Travis Scott.
Maybe Cody Rhodes didn't want a confrontation. He wanted to make John Cena look like a little bitch.
We've got 4 more weeks of this. So again, I'm not saying that it I would have preferred at least him, like whatever, like undoing his jacket or something as he's going to the ring to make it look like there's like, I'm not okay with what you did to me. Instead, it's like, oh, we were all sitting back there waiting to hear what you had to say. And now we've heard what you had to say. And the reason they cheered for you was because you're special. You were special, and then you treat them this way. And remember, in Cena's promo, he said, the only reason you're cheering for Cody is because now he's your brand new toy, so you can push me out.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So there, it added that, that where he said, Cena said what he felt, and then Cody came and built on that. And then he said, I want the Cena that's on that shirt, not this Cena that's here that's a whiny little bitch.
True.
Because if this Cena wrestles me at WrestleMania, I'm going to retire you early.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So again, it allowed it to, I guess, ultimately fester into a lot of realism between Cody and Cena that had not been there before. Yes, Cena does the whole thing he did, but I guess with the promo now what's interesting to me, and this is where, again, I don't know what they do here. Do they ever let Cena and Cody kind of promo battle?
Well, that's
again, they let Cena do the whole thing, and then Cody came out and cut his part. And then it was done. They didn't really go back and forth.
Now, I did go on social media, and a lot of people said that John Cena is on a different level when it comes to promos compared to Cody. So that is something that the fans were talking about, because they were like, can Cody hang with John Cena when it comes
and
to...
their deliveries are so different. It's going to be interesting to see how that, if they do it that way. Again, they might not. It might just be, again, they're in the same building next week. We'll see how it escalates or what it does from there. But it's very interesting to me how, and in essence, how real they made this feel between the two of them so quickly. And the fans too, because again, when Cena said, he's your brand new toy, now you're pushing me out. And then Cody came out and he said, no, they thought you were special. But Cody knows that he's the new toy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's really added a layer to it in a way that I didn't necessarily see, because I didn't know how Cena was going to be as a heel.
Well, this is the other thing that Bully Ray mentioned about Cody Rhodes. That Cody's a different wrestler in the sense that Cody's more of a vulnerable type of wrestler.
Yes.
A wrestler that can go ahead and I guess he could get a beat down, and he's going to be the more professional and not have to go and retaliate right off the bat. That's why you probably did not see him go running to the ring ready to kick John Cena's ass for what he did to him. He also explains that Cody is more like, hey, I gotta show struggle. Like, I gotta show that, things
That's
happen.
the Rhodes thing. That's the Dusty, and we've talked about it on here, where that's always been kind of the struggle. It's been their whole story.
And then the other thing, he was like, that you got to be comfortable with his silence, that he doesn't have to necessarily be the type of guy who's going to go out there and just bash out and start cursing and doing all that stuff. Only when you piss him off is when you'll probably get like a little snippet of his wrath, but he's more of like I guess when you look at it, like a more professional wrestler, like in the sense of the way I interact with other people. I'm not like that ghetto wrestler who's gonna go out there and I'm not saying, I'm just using those terms as like an analogy here.
Yeah.
But like, hey, I'm gonna go kick that guy's ass because he beat me down last time. He's not like that. He's more of a, hey, I'm a more calm, cool, collected guy because I carry myself in this form of fashion. But you didn't want that, Sean. You wanted him to come out there and kick somebody's ass.
I wanted him to show some emotion of, okay, you got one over on me. Because again, excuse me, the way I'm looking at this is the story last year.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a minute.
And Josh says Cody's a soft wrestler.
I don't think it's soft. Again, if you saw him in real life, he'd probably whoop our ass in real life. But no doubt, real quick before I lose it, I did I loved the fact when what you said there. The what he thought was the interesting part was when Cena lowered his voice after doing everything with the crowd and said, "Hey kid," and then Cody says, "I'm not kid. It's WWE World Champion." Like again, it's like there was moments there, But my thing also is this, and then going back to the question you just asked me, is we watched The Rock do what he did to him all last year leading up to WrestleMania. In the bus, outside the bus. And every time it was Cody getting beat down. Then they become friends now, professionally and all this stuff. Now he doesn't sell his soul. Cena does. So to me, in essence, Cena is a portion of the whole thing with The Rock, to me. And again, when you talk about what Bully Ray said, it makes sense to what you saw there. But like, I feel like there's just, but again, when you look at the end result of what happened at the promo, it would not have added what it did if he stormed the ring. The promo, what they cut there added a ton more than if Cody just came out and, just it turned into a, a pull apart or whatever they're going to do. Because they're not going to let them start fighting each other right there. So ultimately, I think the better thing to keep building on is what they did. But I would have loved Cody to at least show some emotion. It just felt like he was coming to the ring just for another thing until he got in the ring and he got the mic and then it changed.
I will say this. If you wanted to change it up, and just, again, you're giving me ideas here, so I'm thinking. If John Cena was on the ring and then he calls them out, right? Or he would have called them out and be like, look, this and that. And then Cody's song plays. He could have rushed into the ring, right? Like rushed into the ring. But instead of getting right in, hit him, he gets right in front of his face. And just you have a face-off right face to face. And then Cody gets on the mic and says, you're not even worth me beating you down after what you did to me, or something like that, where he could actually, because then now you're kind of acknowledging that he is pissed that he got his ass kicked by Cena, Travis Scott, and The Rock, but at the same time, you're not selling us too much by giving us an altercation physically between the two of them. So you're giving us a little bit of both. You're giving us that that anger, but you're also giving us like Cody's not gonna go that far because Cody is more well-mannered in his sense of his the way his character is portrayed. Maybe you could have done that. Maybe that probably would have changed maybe a little bit the way you looked at that promo. My opinion, I thought it was fine. I thought
the promos, once they went off, I thought it was good, man. And again, I was hoping, and again, however you want to look at it, I was hoping there was going to be something. Cena laying out Rhodes laying out. I was hoping there was going to be a little bit more, but again, the promo to me did what it needed to do with the way they did it. My way would have been escalating it way quicker than it probably needed to be. But I wanted to see a reaction from Cody. And I guess technically in the promo, you got the reaction because he says, quit being if this Cena's the one showing up, then I'm going to retire you at WrestleMania. So I mean, in his words, he was throwing jabs.
On the other hand, I was a little bit upset that John Cena didn't retaliate. Because you have a guy who calls you a bitch and the show just ends, normal. It doesn't show like Cody beating down backstage or anything like that. Like, you call a man a bitch, that is something that you really, you're not gonna just stand there and just take it. But apparently John Cena did.
Yeah, but at the same time, and it goes back to what we talked about last week with your stance on the EO and Rhea and all that stuff, where I thought, it was right for there. I thought the way that ended was well. Now, next week, if they get in the same position, it should not end that way. Because I feel like, again, with the audience they had, the whole thing was about serenading Cena out of the ring almost in a way. That was, again, they let the fans play into this whole thing also by building up what Cena said. You guys don't care about me. You never cared about me. It's the let's go Cena, Cena sucks. You never really, I'm just an object. I'm a toy. Like he said, I'm not a heel. I'm not a face. I'm a human being. And like that started the whole thing there. Like, you've never treated me as a human being. I've always been an object to you fans. And it ended that way. When you look back at it, what did they do? They serenaded him out of the ring.
I will say this. When it comes to the Io Sky, Bianca, and Rhea Ripley promo, I thought they made up way, way more. It was a lot better this time around than the first time around. I like the fact that you got a reaction. I like the fact that Rhea Ripley went out
But
there.
you also saw
and got
Rhea Ripley.
pissed.
What did she do? She didn't come out and do her whole entrance and slam her foot down and all that stuff. No, she ran right to the ring, upset, mad, like, no. And also, I liked what they did with Bianca and Io, too, where Bianca goes, I'm going to let you slide on that one because I was a little at fault for disrespecting you. So I'm letting that one slide, but not anymore. And then, again, it's the storytelling. I'll wait till this week and see what goes down between Cena and Rhodes. Then I'll make the decision on whether last week was a good idea or not.
Here's the issue that I had with Monday Night Raw was the tables. Can somebody break a table? Jesus Christ, what is going on here?
I'm telling you now, I'm not buying any tables in Belgium or wherever, Brussels, wherever the hell they're at.
Jesus,
Those
they can't
things are
break a table.
Jesus.
You got tables that were not being broken. You had the announcer table that thing's like steel, bro. Nobody could ever break that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what they reinforced that thing with, man. They were just throwing. And then, Io on Bianca, and the table just went thud.
Like, absolutely did not break. I was watching. I was like, damn, these tables don't want to break. I'm shocked about it. But besides that, I am intrigued. I want to see what John Cena and Cody are going to do. I want to see when The Rock is going to be involved. I want to see if when Rock comes into the three of them, I don't know if Travis Scott is going to come. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if he does. But I want to see if John Cena's attitude changes a little bit in the sense that The Rock is the one giving him orders and he's just obeying them and doing it. Or
he's got to play off of it.
Yeah.
And he's got to play off The Rock, too. It's different when it's one-on-one, but when you're, but again, I think those two could make it work because it's just like being in Hollywood. You're just playing off them. But also, I'm very interested to see how the interaction between Rock and Cena for the reason of, does Cena, I know what you said. You texted me right after or messaged me right after. You're like, Cena better win at WrestleMania. And my interest is, how does Rock talk to Cena? And how does that interaction go to start seeing now if that's actually the case? Is Cena going to be a long-time heel? Or is this just a way to where Cena goes, you know what? I let The Rock get in my head. He messed me up. Now it's time for me to redeem myself.
I hope not.
And go. That's what I want to see how this plays out. I want to see that dynamic in action because, again, it's one thing to stand there, beat the crap out of him, hold the belt up, and all of you hold your hands up high. Nobody says anything. Nobody interacts. Now, when it comes down, as you're saying, how does the final boss treat John Cena? As an equal or as a lesser like he did at the beginning with Roman in a way, right? It was him and Roman were kind of, and then it kind of made up. They ended up coming to be on the same level. But then the other guys in the bloodline, so that's going to be the dynamic that I'm very interested to see on for that reaction of where it goes from here. Because if they got good chemistry and it goes, I think I'm going to have to jump on your bandwagon. And if that does work, you got to put the title on Cena.
Well, remember what I said to you. I said I wanted Cena to end his career as a heel. Obviously, he's saying that he's just John Cena. But I want him to be a heel till the end. And I think there's not an issue with him ending his career
With that promo, the way he cut it, I can see that happening. I can. But then also, does it make more sympathy with how harsh he was to the crowd and the fans if he can turn it for a redemption thing? It works both ways, depending on how they do it. But that was with you, I have to agree with what you're saying after hearing that promo. Because again, I didn't know what to expect from John Cena, the human being. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not face, he's not heel, he's a human being. So John Cena, the human being, I didn't know what to expect because every time I've seen him, it's always hit the rope, throw up the signs, take off the shirt, throw it out in the crowd, throw the hat in the crowd, sign autographs, kiss babies. That's John Cena. Do your 5 moves of doom and make the crowd happy.
Well, that's another thing I want him to do next week. I want him to take off his hat. That way people can mock him for not having his ball spot anymore. Because that would infuriate him even more. I thought they could do that next week since he didn't take off his hat throughout the whole promo. Yeah. I also feel that eventually he should change maybe his song or whatnot. Maybe at WrestleMania is when I would like to see that. Because I think him coming out with the same music, the same attire at WrestleMania is going to be a little bit lame. Even though I understand with the storyline, but for me, yeah. I would like to see something new, at least a song. Something different from him would be good. Just like The Rock, similar to like The Rock. I feel like he needs it. And I think it would make sense because if Cody keeps jabbing him, now you're not only getting John Cena, but now you're getting a John Cena that's pissed, a John Cena who's now really a heel, and now he's willing to admit that he's a heel, and it's not just John Cena's emotions. It's more of like, hey, I'm a bad guy, and I'm going to show you why. And you just pissed me off to the point where I have to be the bad guy and kick your ass and win the belt. That's how I look at it. I'm thrilled to see this John Cena. I'm happy. And sorry for cutting you off, but one of the things I really, really felt that it worked, and I know we spoke about it a couple seconds ago, the crowd. I don't think we would get this crowd in the United States.
No. The crowd in the United States is conditioned differently. You might get some boos and everything else. You might get a small chance, but you're not getting what you got from that international audience. No.
And that's why when Josh says, hey, he said, I don't know why they didn't do it in the United States, is because by them doing it over there, you got everybody showing hatred on John Cena. If you would have done it in the United States, you could have had half and half a crowd. You could have had people who were actually cheering for him and half of the crowd actually going ahead and booing him. Even though people were screaming out there, John Cena, and then the other half was saying John Cena sucks. But overall, even at the end, everybody hated him no matter what. I don't think you don't get that in the States.
Yeah, in the States is more of a copycat audience. So now you get that from the international fans. Now when they come back to the States, the 2 weeks before WrestleMania, if they bring them out, now the States, wherever they're at, will try to outdo the international. And then now it's going to ramp it up even more heading to Las Vegas. Now, here's the part I wanted to say. When he said, let's see, all you do is take, you take, and you take. You only care about yourselves. I put my values on the line to make a very important choice in my life. And what do we get? My story changes. John Cena's coming to my town. Not one of you sons of bitches ask me how I feel. It's just, what do we get? What do we get? What do we get? You get nothing. You get what you have earned. And what you have earned is nothing. You don't get a new look because you dress like me, you idiots. You don't get new music. That is my voice on my songs. Your time is finally up. My time is now.
I think that has a double meaning when it comes, like, you're dressing like me. You're not playing my music. You're not getting a different music because it's my voice on the song and all that stuff. I think that could be a double meaning because, remember, it's all about him at the same time. It's not baby or heel Cena. It's just John Cena, the human being. And when he feels that the right moment is up, he's going to change whatever he feels he wants to change, whether it be his look, whether it be his song. So I think overall, we could get that from John Cena because the moment he feels like, yo, I want to change my song because I want to change my song, he could still do it. That's why I'm hoping that happens at WrestleMania. I hope we get something different from Cena at WrestleMania. He doesn't have to be thugonomics Cena, and I'm not
I don't
expecting
think
that.
by that.
We're not getting that.
I really don't think you're getting anything
We're not
different.
getting.
I don't think you get anything different. I don't.
But then how are you gonna play it off at WrestleMania? You think just him coming out like all like sorrow and stuff, just him walking like an idiot, like what he did at Belgium? Do you feel that that's what's gonna be the entrance at WrestleMania as well?
It could be because again, it's not going to be the moment for him. Is probably going to be at the end of the match if it goes the way we're saying. Cody will get the beginning, which will be him coming up as the champ from under the ground and all the crazy entrance. And again, The Rock might do something again because The Rock says you'll get everything you want with me. So they might change something. I just don't know that anything changes because Cena's whole point is that, again, it's almost like the new style of heel. It's not me. I'm in the right. It's everything you guys have done.
Yeah.
I've done nothing. I've been me. You guys are the ones that are not understanding this. The European Jeet isn't pretty weak. It's just that story has dragged out for way too damn long.
I know we're talking about John Cena, but
we're talking WWE here. This is all WWE. So
all right, so let's talk about that. Like, this is the person that Triple H has decided to go ahead and make him the other champion in his wrestling, right?
Oh, everybody thinks that, yes.
And story-wise, like you said, people are getting tired. You could tell people are getting tired because I thought you said to me last week, hey, that European crowd is going to go crazy because they've never yeeted before live. And they did do their yeet and they had their moment. They had like a 1 minute yeet. They didn't have the same thing that he usually does. He's like, encore. And then he's like, okay, let's do it one more time and do it again. You feel me? He didn't do that. They didn't do that.
But for the first time, they didn't bring him to the ring first.
And they didn't bring him through. They didn't bring him through the crowd.
No, they bring him through the crowd, and he didn't come to the ring first. His opponent was already there.
His opponent was already there. That's a good point too. Here's the issue with me, because I know they're trying to make him bigger and stronger. That's why he beat who he fought. Luther Kaiser? No.
He fought Austin Theory this time. Austin Theory.
There you go. He fought Austin Theory. So he beat the crap out of Austin Theory like in 10 seconds, right? He like whooped his ass really quickly and it was over. So I think the reason they did that is because they want to make him like stronger. They want to make him like, yo, he's getting over. He's quick. Austin Theory is a cake for him compared to Gunther, right? But then when you see that happen, which is fine, I have no problem, then he hurts himself by going and throwing him over the top of the rope. And what a botch.
You know what happens with that, right? You know what happens, right?
What?
The adrenaline rush gets going and you ain't got the legs, man. You don't have the legs to jump.
Two things I saw.
That's why when you leave your feet, it's like what Jimmy Johnson says about passing the ball. 3 things can happen, 2 of them are bad. When you leave your feet, only one thing can happen right. Everything else is going to be bad.
The first thing that I saw when I saw that, it reminded me of 2 different scenarios. It reminded me of Top Dollar.
Yeah,
Top
AJ
Dollar
Francis.
When AJ Francis
started sending that out, and AJ Francis was replying back to it.
And then number 2 was the JD McDonough injury as well, where he hurt himself. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, I hope this guy didn't hurt himself because that's your one of your WrestleMania main event or one of your matches going down the drain because this guy hurt himself because he didn't do the right move at the time. And it looked bad and there was different angles and all that stuff. And it just like we're already know that this story is like kind of falling short.
Yeah, I felt like they should have injured him and took him out for a little bit, man.
And now he messes up. Obviously, he did it intentionally, but he messes up, and now it even looks even worse. So then, when you look at this, you're like, man, like you said, how were they gonna be able to maintain this momentum? And it's not working right now. They gotta do something,
especially with the way they're doing. Even though Gunther kind of, but like I don't like that buildup. Like to me, Gunther should have took him out, and what should have happened last night happens the Raw before you go to the pay-per-view. Jey Uso should have been off of TV for, and again, I know it sucks when I say this for the international audience, but it doesn't look like they're really going with the heat anyways. If you would have injured him on the Raw before the international tour, and he didn't go on that tour for that 3 weeks, now you come back, you've got 2 Raws left. And then, the first Raw, Gunther comes back out and is like, Jey Uso hasn't been seen on TV since I choked him out, put him through a table, whatever it is you want to do. And then the Monday before, he's about to do it to somebody else, then Uso, he can return. And now you've at least got it to where it just feels like this is just dragging, man. Every week it's like, I'm going to put you to sleep. And then he comes out to put him to sleep. And then sometimes Jey Uso gets out of it. This week he did. Last week he didn't. It's just, it's
boring,
man,
bro. It's boring.
Yeah, they really played this out too long to where I don't understand what.
And to make
what
things
they're doing,
worse,
man.
you have that beginning show of John Cena and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Now look at them.
And also the Penta Kaiser match was pretty damn good.
Hell yeah.
Although I don't understand why you call it no holds barred. I think they used a chair, but I don't think they used any other thing.
I don't think they.
I mean, a backdrop on the table that, of course, didn't break.
Maybe Penta thought he was still in AEW because he called the belt the Continental belt. He wants the Continental belt instead of the Intercontinental belt. That a lot of people were criticizing him.
He's going after Okada. Damn it! He swerved all of us.
Yeah, people were like, "Yo, Penta still doesn't want to let go of AEW. He wants to go after the Continental belt, bro." That's so funny. I was like, "Damn, that sucks that Penta said that." But
you know what I thought about too when you said Austin Theory? Cody should beat him. Cody should wrestle him and beat him quickly. Because remember, at the last WrestleMania I think Cena was at, he lost to Austin Theory for the U.S. title. Austin Theory beat him.
Or you mean Cody or Cena?
No, Cody. Cody should beat him and be like,
"What about Cena?
WrestleMania?
Cena should be the one who wrestles Austin Theory because remember Cena lost
back.
Because Cena lost to Austin Theory.
No, but I think as a statement, he beats him, and it just like
could be.
You couldn't do it. I did it.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Just to throw something out there because, again, it's like although this Raw, timing wise, felt like one of the better Raws in a while.
Well, let me ask you that. Then now that you're talking about timing, I don't know if you specifically were insinuating the actual start time of the show. If it wasn't, but what did you think about a 3 p.m. Monday Night Raw? Did you like the 3 p.m. Monday Night Raw? Yeah,
I don't mind. I think it's smart of them to do it live like that. And again, I can't sit here and say, bad for them when I criticized AEW for not doing their show at 3 or whatever time. But I think theirs actually would have been even later. But again, you adjust the time there to be a doable time here in a way, So, no, I don't have an issue with it. I think it's better that way. I'm going to be upset for SmackDown, honestly, because you're going to have the CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns thing, and I'm not going to be able to see it live. I'm already going to know what happened before it's played on TV because it's on USA. Yeah. That's what I liked about it because now I get to watch it live just like everybody else.
Now, I read a report saying that Netflix took a huge viewership downfall because of it being at 3.
You are, but again, if you watch Netflix today, it's number 1.
Yeah, because everybody was talking about it.
You can none of that. Then you go back and you watch it. That's the thing. That's the thing with Netflix. Like I get all this stuff, and it's the same. With AEW on Max too, now you can go back and watch it. Now, how many people are actually doing that? I don't know. But I do know on Netflix, every Tuesday and a little bit of Wednesday, usually Raw's up there in the top 2 or 3.
I like the 3 o'clock start. My issue with the 3 o'clock start is obviously the fact that it's during when people are working. So if you don't have...
Well, you're not doing it in live shows here. In the States. I mean, you're not going to do a 3 p.m. start. Maybe on a Saturday if you do Saturday night main event or something like that. But you're not going to do a, So again, I
True.
like the fact that I didn't get anything technically, spoiled for me before I got to see it. I think that's what also made that promo so good, is that everybody watched it as it happened, not read about it and then be like, "Oh man, I can't wait to see this," and then it just materialized in front of everybody.
And people were talking about it at 3:00 in the afternoon. There was a lot of people. It was trending on X too, so it was like a lot of people were tuning in. Even though, now let me ask you something. Even though they said that their viewership went down, did you have issues with your Netflix? Because my Netflix started to glitch a little bit, and it actually turned off. It said, "Hey,
Oh,
we're
no.
having issues."
I
And then
didn't know.
you didn't? I had that issue on my Netflix. It said, "Hey, you're having problems.
Now,
You need
were
to
you watching
reboot."
like on your TV or how are you watching?
I was watching it on my TV on my well, I have an
I
Amazon
watched it on my
Firebox.
phone as I was driving to pick up my daughter and do her errands. It never glitched on the phone.
So let me ask you guys who are on the chat board, did you guys have any issues with your Netflix? Because I had Netflix issues on my Amazon Firebox. My phone did not run into any issues because when that happened, I immediately went on my Netflix on my phone and it was working normally.
No Doubt said he had issues too, but he also said right above it, I forgot Raw was at 3 and went to turn it on at 8 like normal. So they must have just played whatever was from the 3:00. They just left the same recording there. So you probably got the same issues. So it must have been a Netflix thing.
I don't know. It's probably your cheap internet, Frankie. Oh my god!
Wow.
Guy, bro.
Josh coming in firing like Cena to his fans. It's a toxic relationship.
I mean, I had issues because I got the little. Oh, look! Hold on a second. You know who also had? Because obviously I was talking to Memo at the time. Because I was saying he's talking to you, Memo. Cena's talking to you all day and all night with that promo. Because you love John Cena. He sent me. See, here you go. I'll try to show it. See, look. Oh, hold on. We got this message right there. There's an issue with your streaming device. Let's try restarting Netflix. That was the message that we got when I was watching it on my TV. On my phone, it didn't. It kept working normally. And I guess a Memo got this issue too. So I don't know if it was just too many
Was it at
people
the very beginning when you had the issues or no?
during Cena's promo. It was during Cena's promo only. It was
He just put, No Doubt put it was all at the very beginning. And remember, he started at 8. So they must have just recorded the same thing and replayed it.
I don't know, man. I thought they were having issues live.
Wilfred, how you doing, sir? I caught your AEWs this time.
Hell yeah, Wilfred. AEW all day, sir. But yeah, I mean that was the only issue I got. But I like I said, I restarted my stuff and it started working properly on my TV. So I was like, all right, whatever. I didn't miss a beat because I had it on my phone as well. So I was like, okay. As soon as it started giving me issues, I went straight to my phone to see it, and it was working fine. So, and it was only like 2 seconds, 3 seconds of an issue. So it wasn't something that lasted, a very long time. So. But yeah, so that's what happened, man. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
Anything else on WWE landscape you can think of that? I mean, let's see what happens on SmackDown with the Seth Rollins thing and all that. So
I want to see how long they're gonna go with this Chad Gable and the Lucha mask. I want to see if that's because here's the issue: they did it again, right? And
actually, Chad Gable came out for the American or for Ivy Niles match, and then got chased off by Ray and Dragon Lee, and then they took on American Made, and then the American Made Luchador came up.
Yeah, so I want to see if they're gonna keep doing that. I honestly wanted. I was a little bit upset that Chad Gable or the Luchador did not come in on during the match. He came after LWO had already won.
Yeah, so I'm so tired of them jobbing the Creed brothers, man.
Yeah, so the Creed brothers lose,
and LWO doesn't beat anybody, but damn it, they can kill the Creeds.
Yeah, it's like I was like, why didn't he come and like stop them and then allow the Creed brothers to win? That's but again, maybe it's probably because that's not Chad Gable, like what No Doubt is saying. So maybe that's the reason why it makes sense not to bring him to save the Creed brothers, because you kind of don't want to. It's not Chad Gable. That's why. So
Yeah. So Wilford's asking, do you think AJ Styles is heading to AEW?
I do not feel that AJ Styles is heading to AEW. Now, the person that I think will go to AEW is Shinsuke Nakamura. I believe Shinsuke's contract is coming up soon. I haven't heard anything of any extensions, and I think he would be a really good fit for the AEW. I don't know if AJ's contract situation, if he got extended or not, but I feel Shinsuke is the guy who will probably leave. I think they always have a hard time. Well, technically, they always have a hard time with both of those guys, with AJ Styles and Shinsuke. But I feel like Shinsuke has been stuck on this damn like over and over feud with LA Knight, and LA Knight keeps beating him. So it's like, I don't know, man. I think maybe Shinsuke would be the right person to jump to the AEW instead of AJ Styles. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think AJ will probably finish his career with WWE. I think his main thing right now is he might show up at TNA before AEW. So that's where I think that lies. And then the Shinsuke, like, I don't believe.
I don't think they've given him an extension.
I mean, I don't think they've given him an extension, but also I don't like this is my thing with if you're.
You don't think Shinsuke versus Okada would be a good match? That would be a badass match.
I do, but then after that's done, what do you do? Like I said, I look, Wilford, I'm not saying that AJ can't have great matches there. There's a lot of dream matches there. The Will Ospreay, I'd like to see him go against Kenny Omega again. I'd like to see all that stuff. But once that one match is done, this is the problem I have with like everybody's like, oh, sign this guy go there, this guy go there. What have they done? And I get that AEW is different than WWE, but what have they done with anybody that's signed there that says, you know what? Yeah, let me go there. They're gonna take care of me. And I'm not saying this is a slight to AEW or anything else like that, but let's be honest. Who have they taken besides Swerve, who I thought was a dumb release to begin with because I thought that he had something, but again, that's neither here nor there. Yes, they've done great with Swerve, but also I believe that's Swerve being able to be himself. And if you've watched what's happened in AEW, anybody that is allowed to be who they are and escalate it, Tony Storm, Swerve Strickland, MJF, Ricochet, especially Ricochet now. When you start looking at those guys, it's not necessarily like every time something happens in WWE, what does everybody say? Oh, they got the machine behind them. They're going to push them to the moon. It's the machine. There's no machine in AEW.
Yeah.
It's Ricochet being able to show what he can really do when he was handcuffed in WWE.
And that's something we could probably
being allowed to do whatever he wants to do and not being handcuffed like you would be in WWE.
But I think that's something we also kind of that's kind of talking to another topic that we're gonna have on Spin the Wheel, to be honest with you, because we did have that. You did mention Moxley as well. I think Moxley has elevated.
Dean Ambrose was a heavyweight champion at one point in WWE. So
I will say this, and
Wilford, I'm not saying you need a machine, but what I'm saying though is it's not AEW that is making them successful.
It's themselves.
It's themselves and the drive of themselves. For the same reason that when you watch some of the other guys that you think are going to get over, don't get over. Why? Because they don't have that drive that Ricochet has. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. And again, I love I don't know how old this thing was with Paul White. He did a thing with, I think, Inside the Ropes, and he was like, look, AEW is different than WWE. WWE is a sports entertainment conglomerate. They are the top of the top. AEW is a gritty, kick you in the face, pro wrestling style organization. And what it reminded me of is back in the day when it was WWF versus NWA. Before Ted Turner bought it and made it WCW. They wrestled in smaller arenas, and they had big names, Ric Flair's, Dusty Rhodes, Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express, the Road Warriors. You name it, they had it there too. But they were always, it was on different levels because they knew, and again, Paul Heyman, accentuate the positives and hide the negatives. What's the positive of AEW? We're the best wrestle. So that's what they show. The problem is the same thing that happened with NWA is it doesn't equate to, you get the hardcore audience, but others don't tune in. And then you can't build because there's nothing. What are you going to build? What are you going to build, honestly?
Yep. I honestly feel that the AEW world is just you run into the situation where, like what Sean is saying, these wrestlers, some of them are so talented and want to drive their careers even more that they are able to create these stories for themselves. And I've always said Tony Khan is not, I don't think Tony Khan is the one saying, hey, Tony, let's do Timeless Tony. No, I think that's Tony Storm bringing that up to Tony Khan, and Tony Khan saying, okay, let's give it a shot. And that's why you see certain wrestlers in AEW succeed, and then you have certain wrestlers who completely fall off the face of the map because they don't either have the drive, or number two, they're just not good in coming up with creative storylines that the fans are going to be bought into it. And those wrestlers should technically try to make their way over to the WWE because that's where the WWE plays a part. WWE allows you to go ahead, and they're the ones who are creating that character. They're the ones that are going to try to create you these stories. You could have your input, but when you're big in, like Seth Rollins was talking about,
you still have to have the drive and you have to have marketability.
Yes,
that's
but
the thing with WWE.
But they give you the opportunity to be successful because again, you guys, I know Sean is not a big fan, but I watch Maven's podcast a lot, and Maven did say, hey, look, they pushed him, and Maven wasn't a great wrestler. He was just a guy who just won the Tough Enough series, and they were trying to push him and all that stuff, and his greatest move was that drop kick. But he does say to himself, hey, I do regret not going in and putting in more time and more effort and learning from the rest of them and talking to the right wrestlers and getting in-ring experience with like some of the older guys and learning more and all that drive. But that doesn't mean they did not push him. They still gave him the opportunity to try to do it. In AEW, they don't give you the opportunity. You have to come up with it. And if you can't come up with it, you're not on the show. That's why you don't see Jack Perry. That's why you don't see Sammy Guevara. That's why you don't see a lot of these guys, because they don't come up with it. And I just feel Tony Khan is just like, whatever, bro. If you can't come up with a story, then you're not on the show. I got to go with the guys who are coming up with stories. And I feel he needs to change that on the AEW side.
Yeah, and I'll say this, where the other wrestling company feel, I guess you're talking about WCW, I'm guessing. And the thing, too, is that Tony Khan has kept it private. And that's where it needs to stay. The problem with WCW was they were owned by Turner Broadcasting, and then it got sold to AOL, and there's just too many, people that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and then you start throwing in budget cuts, and then you start throwing in, oh, you can't say this, you can't do this, you can't say that, and then it was ran poorly before that, and now you add all that on there. That's why they went out of business. I think you're wrong here, Wilfred. Look, Big Cass has always been around. Now that he's cleaned himself up, you're getting to see what Cass really is. And yes, that's happening in AEW, but I don't think that's because of Tony Khan. Will Ospreay was Will Ospreay before Tony Khan.
Of course, 100%.
Daniel Garcia was doing great on the indies. There's a reason that a lot of these guys were being looked at because they were doing good on the indies. They were making names for themselves, and again, with exactly what you're saying about Swerve and them is he's allowed them he hasn't handcuffed them to where WWE says, no, this is what you're doing. And again, I don't know how much that's now, but back then it was, this is what you're doing. Nothing else. We'll tell you what you're going to do. You have very little input. And that is when they handcuff those guys. Ricochet, when he signed with the company, I was like, really? When Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and all those guys signed with NXT with Triple H, I was like, they must be making NXT a brand, because there's no way Vince McMahon is bringing those guys up to the main roster and using them correctly, because they are not Vince McMahon style wrestlers. Vince McMahon is 6'6", 285, just beat the crap out of each other. That was Vince. It's not, and that's what you saw. And Powerhouse Hobbs, again, is, I mean, he's allowed to do himself, and he's taking advantage of it. It's all guys.
Yeah, but come on.
Advantage of. But also, I think Hobbs gets put down a lot because he gets stuck in all these other feuds with the big guys, because it's meat. Oh, let's put him with Archer. Oh, let's put him with Cage. Oh, let's put him with Big Cass. But why not push him elsewhere?
No, and Hobbs is the type of wrestler that he could be riding a high for a while, and then he'll go and fall out of the face of the map, and then they'll bring him back. That's the issue. What happened with
model in a way to me. And Wilford, again, you correct me if I'm wrong, but we've talked about this before, and we'll you know what? Let's just dive into AEW now, since we're already in there. So here's the one thing, and we talked about this before on the show. Mercedes Moné had a great run of challengers. What did they do with any of them? And now Harley Cameron is Harley Graham. She's just coming off everything that was built up, and she was doing the little puppet and singing and the wrath, and now she's got a mask on and she's facing off with Mortos. Like, that's what gets me with AEW. And again, I love the wrestling. Inside the four ropes, phenomenal. Do they have botches? Everybody has botches. But it's everything else that gets me. And I get Harley got hurt. Okay, then let her do the puppet shit and the stuff in the back. She didn't even wrestle the whole build up to Mercedes Moné. Even if she's hurt, let her do that stuff. On her.
And then here's the issue as well. Like you said, they built storylines, and they're doing their best that they can, right?
Well, it's gotten a lot better, except, and this is why I named this AEW Revolution Momentum. We'll talk after you're done with your point.
Here's what happened. Did anybody tune into Saturday AEW Collision? Did anybody look at that?
The number went up 408 this week.
Okay, 408. Well, that's good. I'm happy that they had 408. At least some people were watching. You put a moment where Swerve is giving out his promo, and then John Moxley comes from behind, hits him with a crowbar, and that is a significant moment in AEW, because now you're trying to build Moxley and Swerve, but you do that on Collision when nobody watches that show? Like, that's something you should have done on a Dynamite. At least people would understand it and be able to visualize it and be like, okay, cool. Nobody paid attention to that. I'm shocked that they had 408,000 watching that show on Saturday. Nobody saw that moment. Nobody cares about a moment, because your show, like, who cares about Collision? And now they try to do this, and I know they're trying to build some fans on Saturday Collision, but come on, man. Why would you do that? You're hurting your fan base, because a lot of people don't watch Collision. So on Dynamite, the only way hopefully they'll probably do it. They'll probably recap and show a snippet of what happened on Saturday. But you're hurting that feud now because you started it in Collision instead of actually starting it on Dynamite. And I was upset at that. I was upset at the fact that happened. And they didn't do it on Dynamite. So that's what I wanted to get off my chest when it came out to this past weekend with AEW. And I agree with you of what you said last week, that, they had so much great matches on that live event, and then you get that crappy card, because that was a really, really bad card. Not to insult or to put hate on the wrestlers, but that's not a card that gets you wound up. You understand me? You had a Will Ospreay that was limping all the way to the ring. You didn't see him wrestle. You did not see
The only one that wrestled that was on the card was Takeshka, and he did the Max Caster challenge where he beat Max Caster in about,
Wilfred.
30 seconds.
You say we do care. You care because you're an AEW fanatic, just like I am, just like Sean is. But the casual fan doesn't watch Collision. They've lost that crowd.
Yeah, but also, I think they need to do moments like that to try to get people back on there. But I just feel like, oh, who's that one? Lenny and Hash. I thought that was the streamer people again. The same one we had last week. Different one this week. But they have to build it up. And I agree with that, the move a little bit, because you've got to build that back up. But, like,
I thought they were building it up by showing and previewing and saying, hey, look, tune in. Ricochet is going up against, I forgot who he was wrestling on Saturday, for an opportunity at the belt.
Yeah.
That's the way I thought they were building it up. I don't know if you want to build it up by giving those promos as well, because right now they don't have. You
want to have moments to where you want to you tune in because you don't want to miss something. Do you know what I'm saying? But the problem that they're gonna have, and well, I would love, since you're the AEW,
aficionado.
Not about aficionado. We're all aficionados, I guess, technically. But for you, to me, last Revolution is when Dynamite started getting better. Then it took a couple weeks where it didn't so well, okay? Then, and again, this is what I've always said since the beginning, AEW delivers on pay-per-view every damn time. If all you had to do was watch an AEW pay-per-view, you would think they were the best company in the world, because they deliver every damn time. But the cost it takes, when you looked at the MASH unit that was out there on Wednesday night, like, I don't know if that whole, the payoff is the same, because if I'm that San Jose crowd, I'm a little mad if I paid, I know what tickets cost here to go to a show for a Dynamite. If I paid that much money and I got that card, I would have been pretty pissed off. And I get it. I know they throw the Collision sometimes on there. I'm not sure if the Collision was on there as well. So you might have got to see Ricochet and things like that. But that Dynamite, while they had some good matches, coming off of a Revolution pay-per-view that was phenomenal, I felt like you lost a lot of momentum. And that's my feeling on it. And I'm interested to see what you think. Because, again, I get what you're saying. Some shows will be great. Some shows will be bad. It'll grow and get better. But
let me ask you this, Sean.
When they started 5 years, let's go back to what this whole thing started, right? The first 3 to 4 years of this company was great. Then it went off a little bit. Then it starts coming back. And, like, I don't want it to do that, okay, every 3 or 4 years it does that, and then 2 years it doesn't have a good thing. Like, look, AEW's not going anywhere. And the wrestling is great inside the ropes. It's just, I don't know that they're going to pick up the casual wrestling fan, because it's set up, and, again, this is Tony's decision, or AEW creative decision. It is set up for that. If you like AEW, you're probably either revolting against the WWE product, or you're a little bit more of the underground, independent style of wrestling. And that's not wrong. But the problem is there's not much growth there. because everything is head up against yourselves in a way. It's like you're not gonna get any casual fans.
But here's the thing as well, man. Here's the thing. You can't compare AEW like the NBA because the NBA already is way too bigger in viewership. They have already the fan base. AEW doesn't. AEW only has its hardcore fans. And what Sean is saying is true. You cannot go ahead and you're only getting their hardcore fans to tune in, or the people who are rebelling with WWE and saying, yo, I don't want to watch WWE. I want to watch AEW because I like more the indie type of vibes instead of the storyline and all that stuff. What I wanted to go ahead and ask you is,
and real quick, I'll say that. Let me say one more thing off this. What he's saying, AEW is not the NBA. WWE would probably be the NBA. AEW right now is Major League Baseball.
If that. I will say this, and you said something that I did not like. When you say some shows will be great, some shows will be bad. Well, think about this. You as a wrestling fan, I go to a show and I see a bad show. Do you think that's gonna make me want to go and see that product again? I'm gonna look what happened when me and Sean went to that Sunday Stunner. And the first thing I said to Sean, I was like, this will be the first and last time I ever go to a Sunday Stunner because this show sucked. If you're giving them a Dynamite, which is your prime show on a Wednesday, and you're giving them a mediocre show, a lot of fans are going to be like, why am I going to tune into this if it sucked? You don't do that. You want to give them a mediocre. And again, I don't want to offend the wrestlers because it's not their fault. But you're catering. You give us so many good matches for free that when you get like a mid-level type of wrestling show, you're not satisfied, right? So now you're hurting your crowd. You're hurting your audience because your audience is so trained to the eye that I'm going to get great matches for free that all of a sudden when you get that match, you're like, damn, this sucked. So they gave us a crappy ass match. It's kind of like when you go to a UFC match or a boxing match. You go to these, like UFC is a better analogy. You get a card in Miami and you're like, yo, I don't know any of these UFC fighters. I only know the main event. Are you going to go and watch it? No, you need to see a stacked card in order for you to see it. That's what you want. People are going to go. I learned that if you go to a show and the show is kind of mediocre and I'm not entertained, I probably won't go back to that show. Maybe in the long run, I'll probably make a decision and be like, okay, I'll give it another shot. But you're going to lose me as a fan. And you're going to notice, and this is me who I am a hardcore fan. I watch wrestling a lot. I was upset at that Sunday Stunner. I said, that will be the last time I ever attend a Sunday Stunner. I do not want to go ever to one of those shows because I thought it was ass. So you won't see me for that. I said, I'd rather pay bigger bucks and go to a Monday Night Raw or SmackDown TV show than do that. So when you say, hey, it's okay, they're going to have some good shows and they're going to have some bad shows, it's not okay. And when you compare it to WWE, let's keep it real. Even their bad shows that WWE gives, you're still getting like a C+, maybe B- quality. You're not getting a D or an F in those shows. So that's my grip when it comes to the AEW.
Also, the thing that I use a lot, and I'll say it here, is WWE has conditioned their fans for entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Entertainment. Again, that's the word that they use when you're there. It's entertainment. Problem is now is you do all these 5-star matches on your Dynamites, and now I go and you condition your fans to these. You're usually getting at least one great like matchup or something, and your main event is, no disrespect, Orange Cassidy against Hechicero. Like coming off of that pay-per-view. And again,
that was big. Coming off of that pay-per-view.
Your fans. You're the one conditioning your fans to say, Will Ospreay will take on, whatever it's going to be. And then you go out and this was the show after the momentum from AEW Revolution. You've got to condition your fans. Everybody knows in WWE, the Monday Night Raw after a pay-per-view, you're going to get a promo from probably the people in the main event if it's a Raw. They're not going to wrestle. But again, they've conditioned their audience to know. That's the difference here. AEW's conditioned their audience to where the best wrestle. I did not see the best wrestle on that Wednesday Dynamite.
Here's the thing. You mentioned the Dolphins, and you said no matter how horrible they are, I will still go. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a diehard Dolphins fan, but if you call and you ask my brother, I told my brother, Nick, we need to go ahead and leave and stop being Dolphin season ticket holders. Why? Because we're a failing franchise. There's only a certain amount that you're gonna take, especially when it concerns your wallet, especially with the times that we're living right now. And that's actually one of the we have another topic of spin the wheel on cost. And here's the thing. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna not watch AEW. That doesn't mean I'm not gonna watch my Dolphins. But you are losing me as a customer attending those shows. And that's one of the reasons why they have been having to settle for smaller venues, because fans are not going to these shows because they're at the end of the day, they're like, you know what? Maybe I wasn't getting the AEW experience that I was getting years ago. I reposted on X the fight because it happened, I think it was yesterday. Made it a whole year. It was the anniversary, not a year, but it's a couple of years. But it was the anniversary of that fight between Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, where Britt Baker was bloodied up and she won over the crowd, and she went over after that match. She started using that on her actual video of her entrance and all that stuff. Where are they now? Where is Britt Baker? We don't see her. You saw Thunder Rosa on Saturday get her ass kicked by Mega Bane. But besides that, you don't see the development where you're like, man, yes, I'm invested on Thunder Rosa. Oh, I'm invested on Britt Baker. It's been all these years, and look, what happened to them? But yet on the WWE side, you got guys like The Rock. You got guys like John Cena who have been in WWE for how many years, and they come back and everybody's falling in love with them because they know how to create these stories and entertain you to bring you back, even at their old ass age. You want to see it, and that's what gets me upset with AEW. That I wish they would just for a minute. There's nothing wrong being a little bit entertaining. You have to do that if you want to gain the casual fan and you want to still maintain your longevity fans. You got to give us a little bit of entertaining, which they are doing. I'm not going to say that they're not. Their stories are getting better. But I hope they do it continuously and they do a little bit better job, because that's why they're not growing. But like what Sean said, as long as they're private, they're okay. That's how they'll survive.
Yeah, I mean, it's what we discussed. It's about investment, and people are invested in Swerve. People are invested in MJF. People are invested in other... Yeah, but Wilford... We can only keep saying, so what? And then it's only been 7 years. It's only been 8 years. They're never going to catch up to WWE. And to be honest, they lost the momentum they had when they first started. Remember, it wasn't too long ago. There was talk that, hey, AEW is going to take over, number one. Everybody was heralding over how they were beating NXT. And then it was cool talk and all this stuff. And I'm not downplaying any of it. But I'm pointing out the facts, and the obviousness is that they're not keeping people invested. Episodic TV is about investment. Why do you tune in every week to NCIS or whatever you watch? Why do you tune in every week? Because you're invested in a character on there. You're invested in the show as a whole. That's what you said, but you still watch because we're invested in the Miami Dolphins. I'm invested in South Florida sports. So yes, I'm going to watch it. I personally am invested in AEW. It's not because they got me invested. I am invested in pro wrestling, just like I watch TNA, just like I watch GCW, just like I watch New Japan, all the other stuff. But if I was I'll ask you this, Wilford, and I will ask you this. If you were a casual fan and you just wanted to see what wrestling is all about, and you tuned in to Dynamite last week, are you watching AEW again?
I don't think he's replying to. I think he's going.
No, yeah, he's behind. He's behind because he probably hasn't even got there.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt, that's a good point. Sounds like the Dolphins tank and rebuild. Yeah, in a way. I mean, look, and
But
here's
also, let's do this real quick, Frank. I remember what I asked you. Yes, you would. Okay. Well, cool. Then you're a diehard wrestling fan then, because most fans would not. If you're a casual wrestling fan, you're not. You're
not gonna go. You're not.
No
you're not. It's
no
like
way
when
you're
you.
not.
It's like when you go to.
And here's the other thing, Wilford. We talked about this last week. AEW. Who have they built? And I'll wait for a minute to get his answer real quick. Cat for Life, what's up, buddy?
Oh,
yes,
man,
Braun Breaker and Penta. Look at that. Yelling. Comes in yelling, this guy, all time. All time just yelling.
for the
ladies and gentlemen, Breaker and Penta!
for the AEW Continental Belt. I like it.
Yes, for the AEW Continental Belt. So, Wilford, AEW, what stars have they built?
And not built in the sense that they built them and then they fell off. I'm talking about built them and they stayed with that momentum for a long time. Tell me,
yes,
because we could say that.
Americano, yep.
We could say that about Hobbs, but Hobbs is like this. We could say that about MJF, and now MJF is like this as well. Like the first person I would think would be MJF, but yet again, there's times that he is falling apart, and you're like, nobody cares about MJF, and his momentum is not riding. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, just to say something, a lot of people on Twitter were saying that because MJF re-signed with AEW, when his contract is up, he actually hurt himself because he has not had the same momentum as the first time before that contract. So if he wants to go to WWE, WWE is going to pay him less. It's going to offer him less because he hasn't been able to be as good as what he was when he was in the market, when he was hot.
Can I tell you something? That's an old VKM method.
Oh yeah, of course, bro. Of course. Look at this. I'm going on that
before somebody's contract's going to expire. If they know they're not going to be used, what do? You don't see them on TV for a while, right?
Of course. Of course. Look at this. Tomorrow, AEW, they're in Omaha, Nebraska. A street fight. John Moxley versus Rated R Cope. Again. See what I'm talking about? How they trained you to continuously see these matches. And remember, how much are we going to go ahead and accept this? Because at the end of the day, you're getting a lot of these matches. That's a pay-per-view fight. Why are you giving it to me on a Dynamite again? You feel me? And now you made it a street fight. So now no disrespect to those two guys, but that was a whack fight between those two guys on that pay-per-view. It wasn't an entertaining fight, unfortunately. It was a WWE type of match, right? And a lot of people were not satisfied with that match. Now you're getting them again. So, I don't know, man. And Wilfred says they built Swerve, Tony Storm, Danny Garcia, Private Party, Wheeler Yuta, and Hobbs.
Okay, how many of them were on the pay-per-view at Revolution?
The street fight will make people watch. To answer your question, only Tony Storm and Swerve were the ones who were on that pay-per-view. Private Party? Where the hell are they? They're nowhere to be found. Powerhouse Hobbs. Again, I'm telling you, Hobbs, another guy who's like Danny Garcia. He wasn't on the pay-per-view. He was on Collision, and they're pushing him in Collision, and then Wheeler Yuta. I mean, did you know? Did you notice that on Collision, Moxley attacked Swerve? There was nobody else. It was just Moxley.
It's almost like they distanced the Death Riders away from it for right now.
So now let's keep that in mind. Today, what's today's date? Today is March the 18th. Let's see how long. What do they do from here on out with the Death Riders? What's gonna happen to Claudio? What's gonna happen to Wheeler? What's gonna happen to Pac? Let's see what happens with those and the girl. I forgot her name. Maria Shafir. There you go. What are they going to do with him? Let's see how long it takes them for them to bring him back and put them to be relevant again in the AEW world. How long has it been since Claudio got knocked out and gotten out? How many shows has it been?
Wow.
It's been already like
3
2 or 3 weeks, right?
It was 2 weeks before the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's 3 weeks
Pac
already.
was before that. Remember, Pac was before that.
So let's say Pac 4 weeks. So it's been 3 and 4 weeks that these guys have been gone already.
Yeah. And then Wheeler Yuta was just, he was there, but I don't know where he's at now, where he's at in the storyline. He helped him, and then him and Jay White fought to the back, and then he wasn't there on Collision. Did you see the thing, and I don't know if you saw this on the AEW, one of their Twitter accounts sent it out, and I thought it was pretty cool. When they had the Moxley interview with Renee Paquette in the thing, when he's talking about the AEW title, and he's like, he ends it with him saying, sometimes you just have to go climb mountains. So now everybody thinks he's referencing that Darby Allin's going to be the one that comes in to take the title from him.
I'm not in here that. I didn't say that.
Yeah.
For you.
Yep. No, the interview with the Death Riders at least explained a lot about it. I just don't like the downplay of Moxley. I get it. I am the belt, but like your heavyweight title isn't being seen. To me, that should be one of the most important prizes in wrestling. And, no, Darby Allin, he was made in AEW. I get that. But like, this is the other thing I got problem with too. And then this is all I got to say about this. And I've had the problem, but they sold me on Darby Allin and Orange Cassidy with the Cody Rhodes and the Jericho feud way back whenever. I was like, okay, I can see it now. But Moxley has ran through pretty much everybody. And now I get Darby's the crazy, the daredevil, do anything he can to win, put his body out there and all that. But it's like, what is the story? Is the story he's saving AEW? Is the story he's saving the belt? That's my problem with the Death Rider story. For the first time, they finally had a focused, relationship with Cope against Moxley, because before it was 4 people going for the title and everything else. No, I don't think everybody. But then also, here's the thing with WWE. The problem is they tell stories. They'll get you to invest. They don't always work out. I mean, look at the Wyatt Six right now, right? They got you to invest, then somebody gets hurt, and then they're gone. And then you lose the investment because, as Frankie points out every week, where are they? Because they were built as a story, and then the main guy gets hurt, they're no longer there. So it doesn't always work out. I mean, but again, they at least, when they put people together, the story is laid out in front of you, very simple. I don't have to go watch a YouTube video for 45 minutes to get nuggets on everything. Think about it. When Chad Gable and they started making American Made, Karrion Kross, there was always little stories about why they were going in, again, because they were trying to get to invest and entertain. This is where, again, AEW is about the wrestling. The story falls into place, and they've gotten better at it. They have definitely gotten better at it. But it's not a strong suit to where I don't think this intricate of a story works on AEW TV. I don't.
Look, what storyline do you see for Mortals? Mortals doesn't have a storyline. Mortals is a great wrestler and he's entertaining. Yeah, maybe.
Real quick, I'm sorry, Frank. I'm sorry, man, because I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry I didn't see it. Look, yes, there are people out there that hate AEW. AEW will do no right. I'm not one of them. I love the AEW wrestling. My problem is, and again, it's my problem. I'm not saying they're doing it right. I'm not saying they're doing it wrong. I like the storytelling aspect. If you want me to invest in your product, I need to see the storytelling aspect of it. I can go anywhere and watch a great match. Hell, at Tank Brewery 2 Saturdays ago, there was some great action going on over there. If I want a great wrestling match, I can go anywhere. If you want me to spend 4 hours of my week watching your product, it's got to be more. I know Will Ospreay is going to give me a 5-star match. I know MJF's going to entertain me. But see, there's the thing. MJF entertains. And it's hard to see everything else go. Moxley got tired of the entertainment, which is why he's a perfect fit for AEW. And we've discussed this before on the show. There are some wrestlers that will not succeed in AEW, go to WWE and be successful, and vice versa. Not succeed in WWE, go to AEW and be very successful. It's
like I'm going to tell you something right now, and maybe I'm wrong, but to be honest with you, I was shocked to see Mike Bailey make his way over to the AEW world.
no, I wasn't.
Because I'll tell you
He's
why.
signed since last October.
I understand that, but Mike Bailey, if you've seen him on TNA, his storylines were not like wow moments. And when Mike Bailey, for me, I think he's a really good wrestler, but at the same time, I feel that Mike Bailey is the type of wrestler that needs that WWE, like, yo, we're going to make you this character and we want you to run with this story. I don't feel that Mike Bailey on his own will be able to go ahead and create a storyline for himself that he would make it relevant and people are going to be invested on him. I mean, maybe he could prove me wrong, but I don't see that.
Speedball has a good little following on underground independent area. He's got a good little following. And I think this is also where sometimes they might, and I like the fact they made it the wild card this time instead of being like, like this big debut. And then it's like, because again, I agree with you. I don't think he's up on that, like a Swerve level or something like that.
But I don't see him.
The fact they made him a wild card. And I like that they, again, I didn't like the show, but I did like parts of it. I like the fact that they brought him in with Mortos because Mortos can he's got such a great base. He can fight any style of performer. If you flip around, if you want to go, hardcore, if you want to go, ground and pound, he can do all that. He was a perfect opponent for Speedball Bailey there. And then at the end, again, Orange Cassidy wins, Speedball comes out. I like those little things because at least they're making this tournament seem important. You had Omega come out at the very beginning and talk about how it was his idea. If you want, to make this belt to be the international belt, Takeshita made it a great thing with that being the international belt. He did the kudos and all that, kind of built that up. And then he said he went to Tony Khan. He said, I want the best. Let's put a tournament together. And it kind of strolled out at least, something about making, because that's the other thing that I do have a problem with AEW is it feels like there's a tournament for every damn thing. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But I feel like if you do it over and over and over, it starts losing its kind of appeal as far as like if they did a Money in the Bank every 3 or 4 months, the Money in the Bank don't seem as important.
It loses its value.
Yeah, and I thought they did a great thing with the Owen Hart tournament and the fact that the Owen Hart tournament leads you to all-in main event. I love that one. But then you throw in now they got the Dynasty Eliminator. And then before that, it was the one who was it?
The soccer looking tournament where it's like 5-on-5, and they eliminate themselves and they
yeah.
That name that
well, that was the international tournament. Okada won again.
Okay,
because he became he's known as the greatest tournament wrestler, And so like some of them have great importance, but when you start adding everything into being a tournament, it just, I don't know, man. To me, it just feels like it's over and over. And again, that's another person I think they need to show more. Athena. Why doesn't Athena? Every other ROH title has been on damn Dynamite. Why hasn't the women's title been over there?
I'm gonna tell you this right now. Look, check this out. I just Googled this, and this is on Wikipedia.
Mhm.
It says there was an AEW World Tag Team Championship tournament back in 2019. They had a World Championship Eliminator tournament in 2020. They had they've had a couple more. They had the Elimination Tournament on 2021. They had a TBS Championship Tournament, the Owen Hart Cup, the All Atlantic Championship Tournament, the All AEW Interim World Championship Eliminator Series, the AEW World Trios Championship Tournament, the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions, the Four Pillars Tournament, the Blind Eliminator Tag Team Tournament, the Grand Slam World Championship Eliminator Tournament, the FTW Contender Series. Look at all these goddamn tournaments. The Continental Classic, the International Women's Cup, the AEW World Tag Team Championship Full Gear 4-Way Contender Series. I mean, come on, man. Like what you said, it loses its value. All these tournaments just lose its value.
Yeah, and look, I'm not Wolford. I would love to see Athena against Monet. Honestly, I like. The only problem I might have with that match is it seems like every time an opponent versus Monet, they just get
fall off,
pushed aside. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it just feels like that's what they got. And then so you've got Ospreay versus Swerve. So you've got Swerve beating Moxley for the title, and then Ospreay going for the title versus Swerve, and then Darby versus Moxley as a match, I'm guessing. And yeah, I mean, again, the Speedball Ricochet, I like those matches. I like those again, AEW, it's not the inside the ring, and the wrestling is not my issue. It's not my issue at all with them. It's how sometimes they make things happen, or how they want certain things to feel important, and they just do it over and over. The tournaments, for example. I love that. Again, you did one in 2020. You did one in 2021. One in 2022. And then you jump the shark. And everybody, you're having, like 3-4 tournaments a year. And then it goes away from having meaning. And I get it. In the soccer world, I believe there's all these different... Is there all these different tournaments? Or is it really the Cup, and then you've got the Champions League, and...
There is tournaments in these leagues themselves.
Okay.
And then there's a big tournament of like all the best teams, which is the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the teams that didn't make it to the big tournament. There's a second tournament right below it called the Europa Cup, and those are like the second tier guys that weren't able to make it to the Champions League. But it all correlates. It all correlates with the league. I'll give you an example.
The reason I say that is because that's where Tony's getting this from. But to me...
You can't correlate it like that. This is the problem. Because, we'll use English Premier League. You have a league, right? You have 20-something teams on there, right? Whoever comes in first wins that league's cup. That's the first league, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have the other... Whoever finishes second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, they qualify for those tournaments. So if you finish in second, third, and fourth, you get into Champions League. If you finish in fifth and sixth, you go to Europa Cup. And then in between all that, you have the other tournaments that are like the FA Cup and stuff like that. So they've it all revolves technically on the league. The EPL league, that particular league. So everything comes out of that. So you have like little subdivisions. It works in the soccer world.
It's based on your rankings, though, right?
Yes, it's based on your rankings. Yes.
Again, this is where, AEW stood out at the beginning because their rankings and the records meant something. And I could see them doing tournaments and putting it that way. But now you're doing a tournament and it's, Mortos. Mark Davis. It's I get the Ricochets, I get the Speedball Bailey, I get, some of the other ones, but some, like, you're just throwing people to make them have positions, and that just doesn't. To me, it's like, okay, that's when the tournaments get watered down because you don't have, to me, the proper people like Kenny Omega. I know Mark Andrews ain't going to go to a pay-per-view to take on Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
So, and on Wilford, I don't know about him losing the belt. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know because I don't get the whole storyline.
And I think it'll hurt him.
What they're doing with the Death Riders. I love what they're doing with the Hurt Syndicate, making them look like monsters, which is something WWE failed to do. They had an opportunity, but since that wasn't their creation, it got poo-pooed on because that's what the old regime did at WWE. If it wasn't their creation, i.e. DX, i.e. The Shield, i.e. NWO, they got NWO, and what they do? They tore them down, right?
And one thing I want to say, not every sport needs tournaments. NFL doesn't have a tournament. It would not work correctly if the NFL had a tournament. The NBA is trying to do a tournament, obviously, and if you look at it right now, they're trying to build momentum. Baseball doesn't have a tournament. Soccer does have tournaments left and right. Some people like soccer, some people don't like soccer. Some people like the NFL the way it is because you don't have all those extra curricular activities of, there's another tournament here, there's another tournament there, there's another. No, you got the Super Bowl and you're done. That's it.
Yeah.
So, it kind of.
With AEW, what they could do is at the end of the year, you have the ranking systems there. The last pay-per-view of the year, the top 4 competitors go one-on-one and crown whatever, two semifinal matches, and then the winners meet for the crown. Same thing with the tag team. Same thing with the women's division. You have the rankings there to where you could do a tournament at the end of the year and make it mean something. Almost kind of like with a King of the Ring type tournament, but actually it would mean more because you're fighting the whole year to be in the top 4 to get put into this tournament at the end of the World's End pay-per-view. Or something like that. If you want to make it that way, it's just every time diverse. Oh, it's the International Eliminator. Oh, it's the Dynasty. It's just, I love the Owen Hart cut. I love that one because it's like their Money in the Bank. You're automatic, or actually it's like the Royal Rumble in a way because the winner automatically goes to All In to challenge for the title.
Yeah.
So I like those, and again, it's not, I'm not against AEW. I just feel like they could do better, and sometimes they just they're okay with what they're doing, and it's like one little tweak here and one little tweak there, and you change it because it's not terrible because the wrestling makes it great. And look, if you looked at just the wrestling on that card, for as bad as it was, wrestling wasn't that bad. The matches were not bad.
The issue is, Sean,
it just came off of a pay-per-view that put AEW to me at the top, and they did nothing with it.
You're over saturating your fan base with too many tournaments, with too many repetitive fights, without any storylines to make them still stay relevant. You saw what happened with me where I told you, hey, that Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher was a decent fight, but even though it was in a steel cage match, it didn't live up to expectation to what I saw in Orlando. The Orlando one was way better. So that match, although for a lot of you guys probably, whoa, what a great match. For me, it was like, it's because you're oversaturating us with so many tournaments. You're oversaturating us with the same repetitive. Look, we're seeing Moxley against Cope again. We're seeing it again. We just saw that was on a pay-per-view 2 weeks ago, last month. So it's like they need to figure out a way to stop doing that. And the only way you're going to find that, the only way you're going to really get us to be invested and be like, I'm not all excited. Oh, it's a street fight between Moxley and Cope. Why should I be excited? I mean, it's a good fight, okay, but you don't see me going ahead and be like, "Damn, I can't wait for Wednesday. I can't wait to see Dynamite because I'm gonna be able to." You don't have that same reaction. You have the reactions like, "Yo, it'll be a good fight. It'll be pretty cool." And maybe when I tune in, it'll live up to expectation. But as of right now, it's not something that it's gonna gain my attraction. If I don't watch Dynamite tomorrow, is it gonna like completely like hurt me because I'm like, damn, I didn't get to watch? No, I could care less if I don't watch it, whatever, because I've already seen that match. I saw that in the last pay-per-view. You feel me? So it's like it's not important. It's not relevant anymore for me to be like, damn. Now, let's say, for example, look at us. Look at us on Monday. 3 o'clock. Sean was picking up his kid and he had Monday Night Raw on his phone. I was working and I had on my TV and on my phone Monday Night Raw. You see how the difference between when you have your fans invested on it, because we don't want to miss it. We know it's live. We're like, oh snap, I actually want. Memo was watching it. Memo never watches Monday Night Raw live, but he was watching it because he was invested. He's like, oh crap, we're gonna see John Cena for the first time in a while. Do you think people are like drooling for, can't wait to see Moxley against Cope tomorrow in a street fight? No, people already seen that. There's nothing special about it. It happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. And Wilford, we'll get together when they're here live. We'll get together and we'll try to go watch them, man.
Yeah.
And again, it's the same way. You're anti WWE. There's people that are anti AEW. I'm not. I like both of them. I want to see both succeed, and I think AEW is doing good with the wrestling product. It's just the storytelling aspect and getting there is where I have an issue. And then Wilford said the reason he hates AEW, he saw John Cena beat Umaga, and then what they did to the NWO. And again, that's because NWO was not their possession. That's what he does. He gets people. The old regime, VKM, if you're not his toy, you were going to be misused. And then, of course, the NWO is going to be misused. Why? That's the damn shit that almost put him out of business. You knew he was going to kill that. That was not even a chance of anything. All right, time for the spin the wheel. Are you ready, Frankie Fresco?
I felt like the whole AEW segment was us against Wilfred.
I don't think we were against Wilfred. I believe he was pointing his stuff out.
Yeah.
And we were pointing our stuff out. And again, there's
no right or wrong.
There's no right or wrong. It's just what you see, how you because again, we talk about all the time. There's going to be 10 of us watching a show. Yeah. And we'll see it 10 different ways of whatever said instance is. That's what makes pro wrestling so good. Is the problem I think a lot of people get is it's so much tribalism is that they get to where, oh no, our company, our product does no wrong. And it's not right and wrong, but damn it, you can do better. Both of them could.
Of course.
So, all right, here we go. It's almost time. Oh, somebody said something. Hold on a minute.
That was Wilfred.
Good conversation. Yeah, no, Wilford, we'll definitely meet up, and we'll just, even if it's not a show, we'll meet up, have a soda or two, and just shoot the shit on AEW. How about that shit? Huh? How about that? But now it's time to spin the wheel. I think I said it already once, but hey, we'll do it now. Here we go.
I love that the wheel on my little circle has the Frankie Fresco name on it. I love it.
You like it, right?
Yes.
Here we go.
See what the wheel delivers us tonight. Happy Gilmore too. How many of you guys are gonna watch that?
I will watch it. I love Adam Sandler.
I love Happy Gilmore, the first one. So Happy Gilmore number 2. So what happened? So their preview came out. Now let me ask you something. Is it coming out on Netflix? Is it just on Netflix, or is it going on the movie theaters?
That is a good question. I don't know.
I think it's on Netflix because Netflix was the one that was showing. I think at the end of the movie trailer, it said Netflix. So I think it's coming out on Netflix. But anyway, so MJF is on there, obviously. MJF is going to be part of the, I think, Adam Sandler's family.
I believe he's his son. I believe that's what he's playing.
I believe it is his son. Now, here's the crazy part. On the preview, it's coming out on Netflix. Thank you, Josh. Yes, I believe that I saw it right. So did it look good? Did the promo look good? Did you? Well, first and foremost, did you like the trailer? Did you watch the trailer?
I have not even seen the trailer yet.
You have not even
I've
watched.
watched some of the filming and the things like that. And again, I love stupid comedies, which is why I love all Adam Sandler movies. I'm into the stupid shit, buddy. I'm sorry.
So
I like to laugh.
So to tell you a little bit about the actual trailer, if you've seen the first one, I'm assuming, right?
There's a first?
Of course, you had to have.
Is that how they're getting two?
That's why they have a
Oh.
second one. Yes, correct.
Okay.
In the first one, he would have his own happy place, right? Because Happy Gilmore, Happy
Yes,
Place, and all that
yes.
stuff. So
They're
on
a good
this
place,
one,
too.
so on
Until
this one,
Shooter came along.
so on this one, you have him again saying, "I gotta create my new happy place," and that's where you see MJF and all his family and all that stuff in there. So that's one way. Now, one thing that people were talking about, and is the fact that Seth freaking Rollins did confirm that Becky Lynch will be part of this movie, but
Yeah.
yet we did not get to see Becky Lynch on the trailer. So
Yeah.
a lot of people are a little bit disappointed. That probably means that Becky Lynch probably does not have a big role in this movie.
Yeah, it's a small role, probably. I mean,
But we wanted a bigger role for Becky Lynch. We really did, because
yeah,
Becky
you
Lynch.
got to start doing more stuff. The only thing she's done is like Cyndi Lauper on The Young Rock.
But you got to give her a bigger role, man. Becky, we're not seeing Becky Lynch.
Let's see how she performs in this one, and then maybe she'll become a part of Adam Sandler's little crew, and she'll be in all of Adam Sandler's movies.
I will say this: Adam Sandler looks so old in that movie. I'm
come on,
sorry.
yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Adam Sandler. You look so old, man. It's like he was still wearing the Boston Bruins jersey, like what he did in part one, and he looks so old compared to back in the day. The other thing about it, which was pretty cool, is there's cameos of some of the old people, and on the trailer, you got Ben Stiller. Remember Ben Stiller in part one when he was the guy in the house, in the how do you call that? I guess like the old people house. I don't remember what you call it.
Yeah, he was the orderly.
Yeah. So he's back there, and he actually runs into Adam Sandler for that.
Oh, is he still running the thing with the
No,
old lady?
well, the trailer he doesn't look like, he's not dressed up as that. So I don't know, but he does say
He was in the
happy.
sweatshop with Grandma.
Yeah, he does say happy, and then Happy Gilmore's like, "Holy crap, you're here!" Like, so it should be good. If you guys haven't tuned into it, take a look at it. It's on Netflix. You'll see the trailer. It's really good. I'm gonna be tuning in just because I love Happy Gilmore, the first one. So I hope Happy Gilmore 2 does.
Oh, I doubt it's going to hit exactly because most of them don't, but I guarantee it's going to have its funny parts and also its parts where you're like, oh, like all of Adam Sandler's movies, the grown-ups 1 and 2, there's always that little part where it's like, oh, dude, oh yeah, that's the guy from, the other, just all those little things is good.
Yeah. So that's quick segment on that one.
That's right. Now your back is going to hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty.
Exactly.
All right, here we go.
I think they did bring Shooter. I think Shooter's in that movie too.
Shooter's back, right?
I think Shooter is in that.
Better be back.
Shooter McGavin.
Yes. He's probably old too.
Oh.
Here we go. Number 2.
Número 2. Gracias. It's a good one. It's a good one. So let's talk about this. So the reason we put this topic on the wheel was because our boy Swerve went on a podcast and he went ahead and he said that AEW is going ahead and making the wrestlers worth more value. And by that, he means, hey, some of these wrestlers, as they leave AEW, they're getting bigger contracts because now WWE got some. Like if they would have been in an indie show or they would have been like in a smaller wrestling organization, they would have not gotten the same value. For example, he mentioned Cody Rhodes, which is true. Cody got paid more. Ricky Saints. I saw Wilfred mention Ricky Saints on the chat board, I believe. Ricky Saints is another guy. You have who's another one from AEW that made his way over? Oh, Jake Cargill, another one that made has increased her financial situation based on the fact that she was in the AEW. And
Ethan Page.
Ethan Page. Now, here's my question to you, and this is where I was going with this topic. Can we say the same thing vice versa with the WWE?
I mean, I wouldn't say that they will increase their value, but again, you've watched Cope, you've watched Moxley, you've watched all these guys go over there, and what are they doing now? They're headlining pay-per-views. So I don't know that you can increase it, but you can build a name and go over there. I mean, people are waiting. Shinsuke Nakamura. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, I felt like what AEW has done is it's forced WWE to pay more for the guys they want. Without AEW, you just flounder around on the indies when WWE wants you. Hey, okay, now we'll bring you. And WWE could give you whatever because there's no competition. So to me, that's how AEW has increased the value of pro wrestlers. Now, what also they've done is your ricochets, your swerves, the ones that were kind of being overlooked or misused are now making more money because they're able to show what they can really do when they're not handcuffed to be able to make that money. Because the Ricochet in WWE, I wouldn't pay the money I'm seeing in the Ricochet in AEW. Even though I know Ricochet can go in the ring, but I wouldn't have given him money that I would give. Like right now, what I'm seeing from him, I would give him more money.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think Ricochet is making more money at AEW than when he was making at WWE?
You know what? I wouldn't say more money. It's probably around the same.
So it didn't increase his value, WWE.
No,
when it comes to Ricochet.
Well, not that it increased his value, but it did give his name out there. So people know who Ricochet is.
Good point.
Because of WWE. But the problem was WWE misused him.
Correct.
And AEW is allowing him to be more than what he was there. So now, yes, they are increasing his value that way. Same thing with Swerve. Swerve was great in WWE, but he wasn't the Swerve we're seeing now in AEW.
True, 100%. I agree.
Because they weren't using him the way that they're using him there. Do you know what I'm saying? So like that, again, that's where like the environment does. But for me, it's more along the lines of because of AEW, it's forcing WWE to pay top dollar because if they don't want that guy to go to AEW, they're going to pay them. Now, the ones that get tired of the stuff that goes on in AEW and vice versa in WWE, Ricochet, Swerve, they might take a little bit less to go there, earn their keep, and then get paid more when they re-sign a la Swerve. The big bonus, the big extension till 2029 with AEW, which was bigger than, what he signed for originally.
I feel that WWE does not kind of bring the financial value like you say AEW has done, but you're right about the fact that they do bring, the opportunity to kind of when they're towards their end of their career, or maybe they're not as successful in the WWE world, that some of them have made their way over to the AEW world and have had some success. Sometimes even more. Toni Storm is a good example.
And the handcuffs got taken off of her. She wasn't the international firecracker or whatever. She became timeless Toni Storm. She wasn't what WWE kept pushing her as. That never, to me, it never stuck because it didn't really feel like it was her.
But keep in mind, it took AEW a while before they actually went to the timeless Toni Storm character. So they tried a lot of different things for Toni Storm.
They kept trying to push it the way it was, the way kind of she had in WWE. And then I think she finally, said, okay, this isn't going to work. Let's go this route. And luckily for whoever came up with it, kudos to them. If it was Tony or, and kudos to TK and them too, to listen. That's the one thing with AEW is at least they're listening to, good ideas. They probably listen to some bad ones too, which maybe is the result of some of the stuff that we're talking about, now because maybe they allow too much, there. But like the thing with WWE is this. When VKM was there, if you could make him money, you're going to get paid.
Yes.
If you couldn't, or he didn't think you could, probably a better way of putting it, then he was going to cut you. Or if he didn't think you were making the money that he was paying you, they're going to let you go. And No Doubt says Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes is another one. Just like Cedric Alexander. Like I thought Cedric Alexander would already be in AEW. But I don't know when his 90 days is up. I know he's going to be on a Hog show, House of Glory Wrestling. I can't remember what show it is. I believe he's on the House of Glory Wrestling, and I believe he's doing the Chris Bay tribute show as well. So I believe he's coming up on his 90 days. So I wouldn't be surprised to possibly see him, possibly go there. But again, Carmelo Hayes is another one. But again, WWE is probably paying Carmelo Hayes. I know they said the other day, like, I think it was Fightful. If I'm not, I might be misquoting here, but I think like it used to be 150,000 was the least contracted. Now it's up to 300,000.
Wow.
So, I mean, again, they're still making. Pin me, pay me, man. I loved Al Snow when he did that Job Squad shirt. Pin me, pay me, and they're getting paid. I mean, $300,000 is $300,000, and then,
just to wrestle.
You get to wrestle, yeah.
So that's not bad at all. That's good money. The other thing I did mention to you, or I was saying, is that you do also have those kind of wrestlers that don't make it. That are from from WWE that make it to the AEW world. So, like for example, Ruby Soho. I know that she got pregnant and everything, and after that, we kind of haven't heard anything from her. I think she already gave birth.
She just gave birth recently.
She
just hasn't been that. Yeah.
Okay, and then another example would probably be Keith Lee. Keith Lee was another one that they brought over, and they just didn't know how to, push him over and help him out.
He's been injured too since the COVID thing. He's got a heart condition, which I don't know what the whole situation is. That's the only thing I don't know. I know he was there, and then they said it was a health issue and some other things like that. So again, and again, it's one of those things to where environments change everything, man.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's just like Samoa Joe, for instance.
That's another guy.
WWE wanted to pay him to be a commentator, because he had so many concussions. He wanted to wrestle still. So he let his contract expire. He took the deal with AEW. The AEW doctors, again, I believe the WWE doctors were like, he's okay to wrestle, but he'd had so many concussions, and WWE was in the magnifying glass because of everything that's happened there. They weren't going to allow it. Yeah. So sometimes things like that happen. And look what's going on with Samoa Joe. I mean, guy's still going. He's been there for 3 years almost? Feels like 2 or 3 years. So
yeah, but look at him right now. Do you see him doing anything great? I mean, how long have they?
Oh, he's doing ops, man. Ops with Shibata and Hook. Yeah, but again, right now, I think that's a good program for him, because what are you going to do right now? You've got Swerve already geared up for the main event picture, and Ospreay's right behind him, and you still got Cope involved in it. And I guess at some point, Christian Cage is going to be involved somewhere to get him and Cope kind of together, to get Cope out of the picture. So there's not really a lot, because again, Samoa Joe was in there with Christian Cage and them.
Well, I don't think Christian. I don't think Christian's gonna be involved, because remember I think there's gonna be like a beef between him and Nick Wayne. I think Nick Wayne is gonna.
Yeah, no, I saw that starting too, but I think there might be a thing during this match where Christian Cage does something just to keep the story going with Cage and Cope.
Gotcha.
Because again, it costs him the heavyweight title at the thing and everything else. So it would make sense from there. Yeah, I heard about Monet. He got JD New York or whatever. And again, kudos to her, man. Stand up for what you believe in. That guy talk down to her and others, and dude, why now you're going to make a name for yourself calling my match?
Yeah.
You reap what you sow, man. You reap what you sow.
Want to do one more or no more?
Yeah, we can do one more, and then we'll end it up.
I just finished my whole water.
That's when you know it's time to get off.
Let's see what we got. Okay,
You
good.
get TV deal.
All right, so
Right.
again, another reason why we're bringing TNA into this is because TNA is now searching for a bigger TV deal.
Yeah.
So it's gonna grow opportunities for TNA, and obviously their relationship with WWE has obviously helped them out. I'm pretty sure there's interest in. I mean, if I have one of the TV companies, I would have some interest in them because you have some quality wrestlers making their way over. There's some really good wrestlers in TNA, and there's some really good wrestlers that have made their names even bigger by appearing in the NXT world and stuff. But then it also, a lot of the TNA is ran by Frankie Kazarian, and if you guys didn't know, Frankie Kazarian has not been the TNA champion. So, I ask you, Sean, number one, is it good for TNA to go ahead and be in a bigger TV deal, or maybe get another TV deal outside of the TV deal that they have right now, like move on from them? And number two, as Kazarian is the head guy there, right? He's the one kind of running the show. Is it time for him to take the spotlight and probably be the name and the face of TNA, or should he just stay back and just sit back and allow the rest of the talent to still sell TNA, and him just, be happy with the success of TNA instead of him actually having success in his own wrestling career? Not to say he hasn't, but just saying
Yeah.
him becoming a TNA champion.
The one thing I would say is this: if you have younger talent, which I believe right now they do, that can carry the company, then allow that to happen. Stay there, be your guy to build up the young guys, keep them going that way. And if you see the right to maybe be a transition to where, okay, we want to put the title on this guy and we can steal it off of this guy with me and run something like that, I would say yes. But don't do it just to put a title on you because you haven't had it. That to me is again, that's a WCW move.
I agree. I think you don't need to force it. I think you basically, especially since he's kind of like the one running the show over there, right? I think his, what I will remember Frankie Kazarian more.
Well, they have a president that runs it, but he's kind of doing I think he's helping out with the booking part of it.
He's kind of like the Cody, right? The Cody of when Cody was the AEW, the face, the one calling almost all the shots, and Nick and
I think there's like a teamwork going on, but yes, Frankie Kazarian is the one pretty much, doing everything there. So to me, again, as long as it doesn't put, when you say spotlight, no, he shouldn't put the spotlight on him. But if it allows them to transition to, again, Joe Hendry just got the title.
Yes.
If his stuff keeps up and you keep doing them, how he was doing, then I think he could have a good little run. But if you do want to take the title off of him and you want to cheat him, you could always throw Kazarian in there with the way his gimmick kind of goes, is he just kind of be that little weasel there and do that. Hey, what's up, Sammy? Now, the TV deal now, this is interesting.
Okay, let me hear this.
Because TNA is owned by Sinclair Broadcasting, who owns the network they're on now. Okay. So I believe if they could get a TV deal, it would be smart. Because right now, I don't think they're just like, it's breaking even, I guess, really. Because they're probably not paying for TV time, but they're probably not getting paid for TV time either. And again, TV deals, I believe the TV rights deals is 62% of WWE's revenue. And I got to believe, and we saw what it did when AEW just got theirs now renewed. It added to their revenue. So I think ultimately, yes, you would love to do it. And honestly, I think the right person to do it, and I know Wilford put Tubi, which could be it, but I think, again, I think NXT is probably going to move off CW because I believe they're going to get paid more money than they got paid right now. I believe they're on a 3-year deal, and they're only making $25 million a year on the NXT deal. But now, if you did that with TNA, that works out. And then also, if you do keep, NXT on CW, you still have that partnership between two companies that are on the same network. And then you could really have some fun. But again, it all goes about the money. Money rules the world. So if they can and they keep doing what they're doing, look, I have TNA Plus on my phone. I paid $9.99 and I got the pay-per-view Friday. I watched it, on my tablet and everything else. So they're getting some revenue. But again, a TV revenue deal would be pretty sweet for them.
I think getting a TV deal would be a game changer for TNA in the sense that I will now probably in my opinion, see TNA compete against AEW for that second spot.
No.
Eventually,
Not yet.
eventually. Because
Maybe,
here's the thing, Sean. You get a TV deal. What does that happen? What happens with that? Now it opens up better production. Now it opens up more opportunity to bring in other wrestlers that you probably couldn't afford.
It does, but it takes time, though.
Correct. I'm not saying that's going to happen from tonight and then go tomorrow night. No, it's going to take a while. But the first step is to get a TV deal. And if they're able to get a TV deal, and let's say, for example...
I mean, they do have a TV deal now. They just don't have one that's probably advantageous to TNA.
Plus, a lot of people... I mean, that channel is not like...
Yeah, no, the channel, I can't get the channel. That's why I watch it on TNA Plus. That's why I got TNA Plus.
I have the channel. I record the shows.
Yeah,
but I will say this. Let's say, for example, a good TV deal. Oh, not a good. I don't want to knock that TV channel. Let's just say a more profitable TV channel decides to invest in TNA. Let's say like a Fox Sports 1. Fox usually like wrestling. I think they had a hell of a run with WWE. Imagine they do TNA. And now you have TNA, and now you're going to see Fox Sports, let's say Fox Sports 1 all of a sudden has wrestling available. It's going to help drastically, in my opinion, TNA. Now, would it hurt the relationship between TNA and WWE? I don't know. That would be the only kind of like sticky situation because...
No, it would. Because Fox isn't going to... WWE's not going to send their wrestlers to Fox.
True. But it's all on the contract too, right? It's all on what you agree on. Because let's keep it real, Sean. If you have TNA wrestlers going to the CW, right, for NXT, and you all of a sudden they're getting fame, and Fox Sports, you're getting more eyeballs in Fox Sports. You're going to start being invested on Fox Sports. So it makes logical sense if I was a Fox Sports person to go ahead and be like, yeah, I'm fine with you going to CW because if you go to CW, people are still going to know who you are. I'm not going to send you my big guys. I'm not going to send you like the Mooses or the what is his name? Is his name Moose? I forgot what.
Yeah, there's Moose. Yes. Okay. That's not why I'm laughing, by the way.
Joe Henry, I probably would have sent my big name wrestlers over there. I would probably send the guys who I kind of want to just see and give them a taste of it and go from there. That's just my opinion. I think it would make logical sense for TNA to get a TV deal with whoever, because if they want to eventually come and compete and be maybe the number 2 wrestling company in the United States, that's the first step. Get a TV deal. That's going to make you...
You're talking... You got to remember now... AEW got a TV deal when they got the Warner Brothers. Mm-hmm. All right. You got to remember what they got. NXT was on USA. Then they went to CW for $25 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what do you think TNA, if NXT is getting $25 million, what do you think TNA is going to garner?
Probably half of that. Maybe exactly. let's say 10 million. Let's say 10 million.
Okay. And now they go there. Now they do kind of shatter a little bit that relationship with WWE. All right. Does that program stand enough on its own to where they can get a bigger TV deal after that deal if there's no partnership with the WWE?
Do you think, in your opinion, if you're asking me, yes, they can. Yes, they can.
Okay.
The reason I say it is because if AEW was able to do it, so can another wrestling organization can do it. I think
They can, but look at what AEW has, though.
I know. They
Look
have
at what they have, though, bro. I mean, honestly, they have names. When you look at TNA, yes, Moose is a great performer. Frankie Kazarian's great. All those guys are great wrestlers. But who is the name besides Joe Hendry that does anything, that changes the dial? There's nothing over there that changes the dial right now. Now, can that change when you get a TV deal? You get more money. Maybe you can bring some other people in. Maybe it changes a little bit. But you're also, again, when you do that, it's going to be interesting to see, honestly, man, right now, when Warner Brothers looks at everything, the big picture with what they're doing right now. And I get it that AEW's ranking like second on Saturday nights because of the sportings and things like that. Is that enough, even with the numbers they're getting, just because they're number 2? Or is WBD going to expect more?
Well, you're saying that they don't have like the big names. They got Joe Henry, but I'm looking at their roster. The roster is still strong. Moose is a contender. Matt Cardona is well known. You have obviously
Cardona's there every once in a while. He's not there every week.
but he's still there. You have Mustafa Ali, who has potential. You have the Nick and Ryan Nemeth. They're both very well known. You have some of these guys that could the Hardys. They people know and see the Rascals. They're another group that are there. I haven't seen Tommy Dreamer. I don't know why they have him listed on the.
Because he's a producer for them.
Oh, okay, so that's probably why they have him like that. They had the girl that went to NXT. I forgot her name. So they developed her as well. So look, can they go ahead and develop a wrestler that the fans could be invested on besides Joe Henry? In my opinion, yes. Once you have people tuning in to your wrestling program and you have to invest. You have to increase your production. You have to increase your graphics. You got to do a lot more stuff, more commercials, obviously, more promotion out there. Like, come on. You said that you saw the pay-per-view, right? For TNA. How many people probably even knew if there was a pay-per-view this past weekend for TNA? They don't promote it as much as you would say an AEW or a WWE pay-per-view is what I'm trying to say. So now that they have financially those gains, now they'll be able to do that. Now people are going to be like, hey, let me tune in because, hey, all of a sudden now I know who TNA is. There's a lot of people. I mean, look at this. I mean, a lot of you guys don't know the wrestlers in TNA. I mean, I know some of them. AJ Francis is in there, and my biggest fan out there is Santino Marella. But it's a possibility. You start from the bottom and you work your way to the top. AEW was able to do it. I don't see why TNA cannot do it. That's just my opinion, though. I think you give it time.
It's a long process.
It is.
Some of those names that you're saying might not be there for a lot of that process.
Hey. You start. You have those guys. You find young talent, and you have the veterans to teach that young talent and in the long run make their names. That's what the whole.
You're gonna make me say it. You're gonna make me say it.
Say it.
WWE is gonna do to them what AEW did to New Japan.
I hope not.
Anybody that they can make money with, they're going to sign. It's already happening.
Damn. Not if they get a TV deal. Not if they get a TV deal.
Even if they get a TV deal, they're not going to be able to. Dude, if they make $15 million a year, you think they can offer what? How much do you think they can offer wrestlers? I mean, really? Come on.
I get it, but remember, there's sponsorships, there's
Remember,
commercials, all that stuff.
Jordan Grace right now is being
Jordan Grace.
paid main roster money to be in NXT. Think about that. That's what WWE can offer. Main roster money to wrestle on Tuesday night and a little circuit on, and she only's got to do one circuit. So basically 8 days a month. And then whatever she does on the main roster.
So you're telling me TNA has no hope, in other words?
I'm not saying they don't have any hope, but what I'm saying is you're putting the eggs in the basket as it is now, and I don't think that's the basket that they're going to have for a while. Moose is in love with WWE right now. After what happened with him with NXT and everything else, like it was like dreams come true. Like that's what it's the awe of like, oh man. And again, that's where, and again, AEW can do the same thing for them. You think AEW can't offer them as much money as WWE? If they start making these guys name brands, they're not going to be able to compete with that.
Never say never, my friend. Never say never.
Never say never in wrestling, but
never say never, my friend. There's always Cinderella stories.
So I started laughing a minute ago at you, but I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at something I looked up. Because I looked up to see who owned the CW network.
Okay.
75% of it is owned by Nexstar Media Group. Do you know who owns the other 25%?
USA?
Warner Brothers Discovery.
Oh my God.
And Paramount Global.
Wow.
So NXT is on WBT, baby.
Wow. Crazy.
Oh my goodness. Hold on a minute. I got to get this set up because I was talking to you. But again, I don't think that you're wrong that AEW has a path to being, you know.
You mean TNA?
What did I say?
AEW.
All right. Well, TNA has a path, same as AEW.
Eventually had one, yeah.
But I think the problem goes when you start getting to 3 is somebody's going to get picked from. And everybody's going to pick, I believe, from the TNA tree.
I don't know. Don't underestimate the underdog.
No, but also by saying that, though, people are going to be released from WWE. People are going to be released by AEW. And again, you know, things will change around to how it goes. So you just have to figure out which one is the better plan for whoever. Because again, Mustafa Ali, another one, wasn't used well in WWE. If you look at him now,
he's good.
Pretty damn good.
Yeah,
pretty damn good.
I like him in TNA. Bro.
AJ Francis, the same thing. He was just a big bodyguard guy for Swerve. And now, I mean, yeah, sometimes it gets a little bit crazy, but you know, at least it is. He's seeing something, and he's becoming a brand, and it's something there. You know, Joe Hendry. You know, it's one of those things where sometimes environment makes it better, man.
And I'm not gonna lie, if you have a lot of those AEW wrestlers that are eventually let high and dry and they move on, but TNA could pick them up, man. And TNA could make a name for them. And again, it's all about the image. It's all about the character. The same way Ricochet moved on from WWE to AEW, a lot of people said, oh, snap, I want to see Ricochet. Why? Because he came from WWE. That's going to happen with a lot of guys from the AEW world when if they are let go or just their contract run out. All of a sudden, you see him at TNA, you're going to be like, oh, snap, let me tune into TNA. Let me check this guy out because I used to see him in AEW. Why do you think when I saw Mike Bailey, I was like, oh, crap, Mike Bailey. I knew he was an agent. I knew he was a free agent, but I was like, oh, damn, TNA. Because we've been watching TNA. So it's like, oh, man, AEW even picked up a wrestler from TNA because they feel like there's a potential there. So that's when you got to start taking into consideration and be like, hey, man, TNA might not be right now a contender. But that doesn't mean that in a couple of years they might be able to go ahead
Yeah,
and
but you have
develop
to remember the
guys.
history of TNA. I mean, when you look at it, Impact TNA, however you want to look at it, NWA TNA. Again, they started out running a pay-per-view weekly for $9.99.
Mm-hmm.
Every week they ran a different pay-per-view from in Tennessee. Then they got to a TV deal, and it was cool. It was good. They had AJ Styles. They had a lot of guys. LAX. Then Dixie Carter became Money happy and Mark happy, and every time somebody got let go for whatever reason from WWE or WCW, they were signing them. And then it just, again, you can only sign so many guys and make it work. And that's what happened. Again, it was Bischoff, it was Hogan, they had their favorites. They brought them in. They pushed the guys they wanted. Then when guys wanted to go over, guys didn't show up. Guys just doing whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then their window kind of closed.
It did close, yeah.
And it became a more of a independent type of environment. Still with good names and running it and good. And then, now they've picked up a little bit because it has jumped into now with NXT. So it's allowed a little bit more of it. But again, they've had that run and they didn't keep it because they put their eggs in the wrong basket. They put it in the Hogan Bischoff basket, and that wasn't the way to go.
Fact.
And you alienate a lot of people. And that's why Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, where'd they go? WWE.
You just have to have the right person in place. And
you have to have leaders. And people have to be on the look. If one thing that CM Punk can show you is when you look at, you got guys that maybe they want it their way or not, but again, it's a lot of sacrificing from everybody. You think John Cena wants to lose at the Royal Rumble the way he did? No, but it was the sacrifice to get Jey Uso over. And that's the one thing I think that gets lost a lot of times in wrestling is that there's a lot of sacrificing going on. And if you have a proper story or a proper, angle for it, a lot of time they're not that upset about it because they get what goes around comes around. So they know they're going to get it back. But the problem is when you had the environment like you had in WWE is you didn't know you were going to get it back because there's so much politics going on that, hey, now I'm losing it. All right, I'm done. I mean, I'll tell you one story I went to. When I went, there was a guy, at the time, it was not a huge name. We went to a tryout here at that time. It was the National Car Rental Center.
okay.
I believe that's what it was at that time. It was the the match where Stephanie McMahon turned on Vince McMahon and sided with Triple H. That angle that they had, it was Triple H against Vince McMahon, and Stephanie turned on Vince. That was the show. It was a pay-per-view. We were backstage. We did a couple of the security guard things. Mick Foley pulled up in his thing. We had little angles that we did as a part of it. There were guys, named guys, Stone Colds, Rocks, different guys came up to us and shook every one of our hands. There was 8 of us there.
Mm-hmm.
Introduced, shook our hands. There were other guys that walked by us like we were pieces of shit. And then one of them, I got the opportunity to actually sit down with and talk. And again, he was like, the problem back then was the environment was every time anybody was there for a tryout, your job was on the line. So we looked at you as you could be my replacement. Yeah, the big name guys are cool with everything. You know what I'm saying? So for us, it was more, these are guys going to try to take more jobs. And I didn't look at it from that way. I just looked at it like, you guys are a bunch of asses. But that's where the camaraderie, and you watch it in TNA right now, and it's there. And you watch it in AEW, and you can see it. Because, I mean, hell, think about what Will Ospreay did for Kyle Fletcher. That one match when Kyle Fletcher pinned him when nobody thought that was going to happen elevated Kyle Fletcher to what Kyle Fletcher is today.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And just those little things happening, you know, the environment and everything else makes it just awesome. Frankie, let them know where they can get a hold of you, my man.
Frankie Fresco, YouTube, the channel, X, Facebook, Instagram. If you can't find me under Frankie Fresco, you can find me under Fresco Music. All you got to do is just type in the Fresco, the way it's spelled, FREZKO with a Z, and my information automatically pulls up. You guys are more than welcome to go ahead and follow me on X, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And obviously, if you guys ever want to come and support, you guys know that I DJ for the Miami Sharks. I was there this past Saturday. Unfortunately, we did not win. We lost, but it was a hell of a game, and we had a great time. They actually, I don't know if you ever heard of this, Sean, but they had a concert. They had a candlelight concert. So it's like a violinist that actually play with a whole bunch of candles all around them, and it's very well known. People, like, if you're like into all that stuff, I saw them. They performed over there, so that was pretty cool that they had that in the post game. I didn't DJ as much the post game. I DJ'd maybe like 30, 40 minutes after that. I usually DJ about an hour and a half, but the concert was pretty cool. So they're offering different things to the fans out there. And again, the tickets are only $30, so you guys are more than welcome to go ahead and check them online. Again, Miami Sharks are their names, and I won't be the next two games. I have bookings for those next two games. So my colleague Immortal is going to be DJing, but then I'll be back for the final two games of the season. So definitely check them out. And don't forget to support this channel and my channel. Don't forget to hit the like and hit the subscribe and tell your friends and family. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
And I appreciate you for tuning in. You can check me out at StanleyMedia_11 on X. You can check me out at Stanley Media House Network on Facebook and YouTube. Oh, goodness, DeTrapio jumped in. And YouTube. I am at Stanley Media House on Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, everywhere else. And also, and Josh, yes, the Miami Sharks was a football team on any given Sunday. Jamie Foxx was the quarterback.
Now they're a rugby team in Miami.
Now they're a rugby team that Frankie Fresco DJs for. And they're a good team. I'm watching NXT right now. It's just kind of, it's breaking down right now.
Did you watch the game? Did you watch the Miami Sharks?
The things you put on there, like the thing there. No, I didn't. Where are they at where can you watch them at?
So they
are ESPN Plus.
On ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
So if you guys ever want to watch them, if you can't make it to the game, you could tune in on ESPN Plus, and they'll televise the show. If you want to go to their games, they're actually play on the center field of Inter Miami. So Chase Stadium is there, and then center field of Chase Stadium, where Messi and all of them like to practice sometimes, it becomes a rugby field. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, we typically get a good crowd. I mean, the tickets are $30. What in God's green earth is $30 nowadays? Everything is so pricey. Look, think about it. To go to the Metro Zoo, right? To the zoo, it costs $26. So you can either pick the zoo or you could go to a Miami Sharks game. And you get free beer, bro. You get Funky Buddha. They have free Funky Buddha beer available after the game. So you get to check that. You get to chill with the players. The players are always there. They could sign shirts, the rugby ball. They do everything. And I heard that their DJ will even give a signature. So if you come to me, I will sign. I'll definitely go ahead and sign anything you guys want. I never get any fans ask me, "Oh, Frankie, you're Frankie from Square Circle Digest." I haven't gotten one. I mean, I'm still trying to get one.
I'm showing up 2 weeks from now.
I'm
2
still
weeks
trying to
after
get. I'm still trying to get at least one of you guys to be like, "Oh, snap! It's Frankie from Squared Circle Digest." I haven't gotten that. I get offers though. All the time. I do always get offers. Like I cool thing about it is that I do get a lot of clients. Like the clients come and tell me, "Hey, Frankie, can I get your business card?" And I didn't have any business cards. I'm like, "Yeah, just follow me on Instagram and send me a message if you're interested." So, but yeah, excited about the Miami Sharks. Hopefully we bounce back. Unfortunately, it was a tough game this past weekend. But hey, man, I'm telling you, if you don't like rugby, give it a shot, man, bro. If you like football, you're gonna like rugby.
Yep.
That's the crazy thing. If you like football, you're gonna like rugby, especially in person. It's really fun. It's really the way these guys hit each other is impressive. Impressive.
And finally, check out StanleyMediaHouse.com. Let me know what you think. I got a website. Check it out, StanleyMediaHouse.com. And let me know. Shoot me DMs, Instagram, X, wherever you follow me at. Let me know what you think, what can be added, and things like that. This show will be posted in the latest episodes of the Squared Circle Digest. And until next week, Tuesday, 7 p, the place to be, the Squared Circle Digest with Sean Stanley and Frankie Fresco. In the words of the great Gordon Soley, so long from the sun, shine, state.